most, driving is just a mundane task between point A and point B. Nothing more. It's the frustration of traffic at 8 a.m. The feeling of sickness on a long ride. The car? Just a tool. It's supposed to be practical, reliable, and fast. But the speed is really the reason cars exist, born out of a necessity to make that A to B trip just a little bit faster. Some have a deeper connection with cars, found somewhere in the bond of man and machine, a desire to be part of something bigger than yourself. It's the extension of mind and body to something more exciting than just another appliance. And these people never cared about practicality or reliability. To them, the only thing that matters is speed. We're born with a competitive nature, part of a biological necessity that has not yet worn off with time. People have raced for thousands of years, and that competition has transcended history and found its way to the industrial age. Railroads raced to build across the country, replacing the horses whose strength is still used as a benchmark for power today. And as personal vehicles became popular, the railroads died off. What once was the quickest way across the country became snail's pace in comparison. The interstate highway system expanded and cars populated every driveway. And the competition between types of transport quickly transitioned into the race to have the fastest car. Bragging rights. Manufacturers like Porsche, Ferrari, and BMW emerged in auto racing, each trying to one-up the other. Building engines became an arms race. Who could build the fastest dinosaur-powered lens? So while the passion for cars has died for most, there are still people that are fascinated by racing. The sights, the sounds, the smell of burning rubber and spent race fuel lingering in the air, this is what attracts us to the sport of auto racing. We are empowered by drivers that climb in impossibly fast cars and put everything on the line for the sake of competition. Drivers who know that one slip-up can lead to disaster. And for the longest time, wishing to be a race car driver was just a childhood dream. All we could ever be was a spectator. Opportunities? Limited and expensive. Reserved only for the who's who of the racing world. Until now.
It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon in Indiana, home of the hallowed grounds of the Brickyard. There's over a century of history at this venue. Legends have won here. Legends have died here. This 2.5-mile speedway is so much more than just another oval. It's where the most famous race in history runs every May. IndyCar fans travel in droves to the speedway every year for almost an entire month of testing, practicing, and racing. It may be October now, but that's not stopping iRacing's Classic Indycar Series from running their own 500-mile marquee event. To set the field, nearly 30 drivers will qualify today, running 4 laps each to be averaged to set the grid. It's time to go qualifying for the Classic Indycar Series Indy 500, sponsored by Nucentric Solutions. Finian, welcome to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Of course, my name is Kyle Heyer, and this is Finian DeCuna sitting next to me here. We got a long day ahead of us today, qualifying 4 laps at a time, averaging those times, setting the grid for the 500-mile race next week. Your thoughts? This is going to be a fun one today, kind of a different broadcast from what we normally do.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's going to be a lot more laid back, especially considering there's more or less going to be one driver on the track at a time, but we come to you in the middle of qualifying, I believe already. It looks like already 9 drivers have laid down their time. Josh Baird in the 23 car is currently out there putting his lap time down. And then remember, we're doing the actual IndyCar qualifying format, which means average of your 4 lap times.
Yeah, so I spent about 7 hours yesterday working on a script to calculate those lap times live in the ticker. Unfortunately, I found out after 7 hours that it's not currently possible with the data that iRacing outputs to do that automatically, so I will not be doing that today. What we can show you is the best lap time of the day, and we'll order everybody by their best lap time. Of course, their speeds are right next to them as Josh Baird comes on through, sits 8th right now on the fastest lap board. So as he comes on through, you can see that each time by. Also, we got other graphics showing you sector time and current lap time, as well as previous best and current. So enough data to show you what's going on the racetrack right now. But a long afternoon here, Finian. We got about 10 cars with times down right now. Josh Baird out right now in the 23 car, working his way around the course. Track conditions at the moment, Finian, they're pretty hot, 125 degrees. This means that these cars probably aren't going quite as fast as they could, but they're still going really, really fast around here.
Yeah, indeed they are, and you see him coming down on the straightaway, and he's going to be going, these guys are going to be going excess of 220 miles an hour. Across the line, he's going to be starting lap number 4.
Yeah, that's 41.328, which was his best. Actually, no, 295 was his best as he comes on through. So, again, a lot of qualifying going on today, a lot of drivers setting up to set up for the 500-mile event. So, in terms of qualifying, Finian, how important is it for you to get a good qualifying position for next Sunday's event? Because I would argue that it's probably not incredibly important, but I think drivers are still going to give it their all here today.
Yeah, I think drivers are definitely going to give it their all, especially when you consider, again, there's going to be 33 or at least 33 drivers. I believe 38 are signed up for qualifying this afternoon. So some people are going to be going home, unfortunately. So there's going to be pretty much a full grid going for the main event next week. And, you know, if you're starting on the back row, you got a lot of cars to work through. Again, yeah, it is 200 laps. Passing, not entirely easy here in Indianapolis. And I think that's really going to be the big thing for guys wanting to start up in the front.
Josh Baird continuing his qualifying effort. Right now sits 7th in the times overall. Finian, you got a spreadsheet in front of you that shows the current running order. Henry Bennett is shown as the driver with the fastest lap, but what's the current pole sitter right now, just to keep an eye on who's there at the moment?
The current driver on pole is Cook, Matt Cook in the 6th car. He's currently 2nd fastest time, but is currently the provisional pole sitter in the average time.
Hans Pekkanen in the number 8, working his way around the course right now, starting his lap here in just a moment. And of course, we also have the average speeds of those laps at the top of the screen, over 221 miles an hour for the drivers at the top of the board right now. Again, this is the Classic IndyCar Series, running the IR05 Dallara chassis, and maybe not quite as fast overall as some of the newer chassis, but this car has different characteristics for sure. Very interesting looking body kit. They obviously the new car is a lot more sleek and slender, but this thing just has that classic IndyCar look to it. Yeah. It's just a great looking race car.
I think also for a lot of people too. I mean, I'm only 21, but I grew up with this IndyCar watching it on TV a few times. Didn't really watch a lot of IndyCar when I was a kid, but at the times, you know, with the Indy 500, even the IndyCar Series games when it was made by Codemaster was with this car. So it holds a deep place in my heart. This thing, as wide as it is, especially if you go on the roll bar game. Wide.
Yeah, it is a pretty wide-looking race car, and of course, Hans, member of Usagi Racing from Finland. And Finny, what do they say? If you want to win, get a Finn. And next Sunday, we'll be going for the victory in the 500-mile event. I hope you've heard that one.
I have not heard that before, and I'm disappointed that happened.
I can't be the first one to have said that, but working his way now at 20.837, a little slower on the sector time that time through.
And it's all about averages. Slowest first laps for some of the guys out here, but we'll see next time through to me 41.5. Yeah, he's not looking too fast at the moment, at least compared to the guys that have already put down a lap.
Right on board, we got a nice camera on the front wing here. This is a really cool camera that Finian set up for us today. Let's take a look at the onboard here. 207 miles an hour, the slowest point in the corner here. Fifth gear as we come to the back straightaway, and shifting at ovals, maybe for stock car people, not used to doing that, but for IndyCar drivers and open wheel drivers especially, they're used to doing that all the time to keep that engine right around 95, 9600 RPM, right in the peak torque of this engine.
Remember, these guys are also running this open setup for these guys too. So different strategy at work, and I think that's really what it's going to come down to. Because again, while you definitely can take the corners a lot differently, and it's definitely going to come down to a little bit of driving style and how you approach these corners. They're not easy to navigate, but it's definitely going to come down to a little bit of the setup with these guys and what they have in their car.
Well, it's also about drivability. I mean, if you think about qualifying, you're setting your car up to do something completely different from what it's doing next weekend. So, you know, maybe Hans and this Usagi Racing, they've set this car up for better driving in traffic, which I would argue is a lot more important come Sunday. Of course, you can run a different setup for qualifying, but you know, sometimes the focus is on the race setup. You're not focused on qualifying. You're focused on winning the race. And big contact out of turn 4 there, and that's going to end the qualifying session for the number 8 car.
And actually, that brings me into a great segue about how this is going to work. So, of course, the 8 of Hans.
I think I just said Pekanen. We don't have pronunciations for these drivers. I'm just going out on a limb here, but
yeah. So Pekanen, of course, retired in his time. So I would imagine, they actually just updated on the document that his time will be invalidated. So he can go for a time later in the session once everyone's put down a time. There's some open slots for track time before the Fast 9 shootout at the end. He can put down another time. Now here's the thing too. Even if you don't crush out, you can still try to go out there for a faster time. But if you do, your last session, your last qualifying session of 4 laps will be invalidated. So if you crash in the next one,
well, yeah, so
you're in a pickle.
Yeah, so essentially it's a discussion of whether or not you want to keep the slow time, or do you want to risk having an incident and end up canceling both your efforts, and then you're going to be in trouble. So here's Alex Fake Take. We don't have pronunciations. I apologize, but every time you work with a new group, you have to get the pronunciations down.
It also doesn't help. It's not supposed to be offensive or anything. I also have a difficult name as well. But the fact that a lot of the drivers here are European also.
Yeah, well, we're used to.
Makes it a little tricky.
We're an American group working in America, and sometimes we're not. I don't know how to pronounce people's names from across the pond. I apologize for that. But anyway, Alex is working his way for his second lap around. Currently 12th slowest on the board. Do we expect these times to pick up each lap, or do you think they're going to slow down? So far, we've seen them slightly pick up from lap to lap. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to pick up, especially once you consider, getting a little bit more heat in the tires, getting the car more and more up to speed. It's a lot of momentum with the Indy car, when you're by yourself, of course. When you're the draft, it's a completely different story. But when you're by yourself, it's a lot. Momentum picks up every single lap, especially with again, like I said, with the tires. They pick up just a little bit each lap. You see 41.556.
Yeah, that was an improvement by about 0.3 that time through for Alex. And this is always a delicate balance in putting the race car exactly where it needs to be in the middle of the corners. Because if you look down on the apex of these turns, and this is a feature that Indianapolis has had for decades, is that they've got concrete curbing or rumble strip, whatever you want to call that, down there on the inside of the apron. You don't want to hit that in these cars. You see Alex staying well clear of that apron, because that is a recipe for disaster if you hit it. He's getting right down to it, but not getting those tires on. Not a lot of grip there. You'll end up getting yourself in a pickle.
First line will come yet again, and will this time be better? It should be.
Comes across the line. It was a 41.795, which is not an improvement. Oh, in the wall out of 2.
It's going to be it for him.
Yeah, it was a big impact there. So, again, drivers seem like they're fighting understeer right now, but it's all about carrying momentum. And you want to get back to that throttle as soon as possible because these straightaways are so long. I mean, there is so much straightaway here that the corner exit is the most important part. And if you make a mistake, you're going to be paying for it in the long run. So, Timu in the number 43, Isanimi, we'll go with that. And the number 43 working his way out on course right now in the number 43 car. And he's a member of Vortex Sim Racing, also from Finland. So the Finns giving me a hard time with the names this afternoon. And we'll see if he can pick up as he works his way down the back straightaway to set up for his first qualifying lap.
Unfortunately, last 2 attempts, guys struggling with their car. Hopefully this can be better for him. And also shout out to the SYM TV logo on the 43.
Liking that. I think he's also a teammate to Robert Grosser, who went earlier in the qualifying session and is currently sitting 5th on the overall lap time chart. Timu comes on through across the start-finish line to start his first lap. I want to take a quick moment to thank our sponsor for coming on board and sponsoring this event. It's Nucentric Solutions. They're proud to sponsor the Oval Triple Crown races at Indy. Nucentric Solutions offers managed IT services to small and medium-sized businesses in the Southeast U.S. For more information to see if Nucentric can provide your company IT solutions, visit them at www.nucentric.com. So they've come on board to help sponsor this event, Vinny, as Timu walks them through first sector, a 20.6 at the halfway mark. That's one of the quicker times we've seen. The sector mark is about halfway down the back straightaway, so it's about halfway through the lap, and so far, we're running a pretty good time. Across the line for lap number 1 will be a 41.198, which will be good enough on the first lap to be 6th quick on the overall lap time chart.
Yeah, it was a pretty solid time too, so we might see him probably jump up in the order around where his teammate Robert Grosser is. Imagine. Especially running him right behind him, so we'll see if you can continue and keep up that pace for the next few laps.
Well, so I guess the hope is that all the teammates are I'm assuming they're running the same setup, or at least a very close variation, so we should see teammates grouped and clustered together, and this is not a car that isn't setup dependent. This car is very setup dependent, and right now I think what we're going to see is Timo comes across the line. They're 5th and 6th on best lap time right now, a 41.115. That'll be just good enough to jump him ahead of his teammate on the best lap chart.
Waiting in the wings for an interview.
All right, we'll pull him in. We'll give him a quick interview. Hey, Josh, how are you? It's Kyle from SYM TV. Right now, it looks like you're sitting 8th on the overall lap time chart. But how is that qualifying effort out there, and how is the track at the moment in terms of the conditions?
The track is terrible. Definitely, our game plan was not to come in with these hot of track temperatures, so it was a fight just to get the car stable enough to do a qualification run. We made it by the skin of our teeth to get a decent time down without the car wanting to spin out because of the tire. So we're looking forward to maybe getting another opportunity a little later, get a little more testing in to try and get this car dialed in a little bit better. But to be honest, right now, with my car being in 8th place and had a stable run, I think I might just go ahead and stick with it. But we'll see as the times go. See what place we sit and go from there.
So obviously the track right now almost 130 degrees. It's pretty hot out there. So is it pretty setup dependent if the car trends towards understeer or oversteer, or is that just kind of a general feeling that seems to happen when the track gets hot?
I like my car a little bit on the looser side, so I try to tend to get it borderline of spinning out, and so when the track gets hotter, it just gets super loose. So you got to try and dial that looseness back, and we tried everything from cross weight to PSI changes, and it didn't seem to be fixing it. So we just dumped a ton of aero in to try and get it stable, and looking to try and make some improvements where we can from the mechanical side, so we can dial some of that aero back out for these long straights.
What are your thoughts on the importance of qualifying at Indy? Again, it's a 500-mile race. It's not a short race by any stretch of the imagination, but is there a danger associated with starting at the back of the pack?
I actually look at it from a different perspective. I think it gives you confidence going into the race having a faster qualification time. So I would prefer to be up front, so that way I know going into it, hey, I got a decent car. I think I can hang with these front leaders instead of sitting at the back wondering, how much faster you got to be to try and get up there with those guys. So I would say go ahead and give it 100% to make this qualification, because it'll definitely determine how your mentality is going into the race.
We were watching a couple other drivers earlier. It seemed like they were struggling a little bit with their overall speed in these cars. How much focus do you guys put on the qualifying setup versus the race setup, and how different are the two?
To be honest, I think they're very different, because over a stint, you're going to definitely lose a lot of grip on the right rear tire depending on your setup. So you definitely, our eyes on our team, Iconic Motorsports, has been focused directly on qualifying setup, and then we'll turn that knob to race setup as soon as this day is over.
All right, Josh. Well, hopefully we'll see if you come back out and try again a little bit later. But so far, Finney, where is he on the overall times grid at the moment? 7th. I have you 8th on the, or actually make that 9th on the fastest lap chart. But Josh, hopefully we'll see you around a little bit later. Good luck next week, and thanks for jumping in.
All right, thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. We'll see you later. Jan Hoffman in the number 05, another teammate And conveniently, they're all right around the same spot right now on the fast lap chart, 3rd through 7th. So pretty similar times they're running for those drivers right now.
Tsunami, his teammate before, is currently 4th in the standings for pole. And also, hopefully, will be carrying the fast time shootout because he was the pole position, pole setter the last time they ran this event. So he's the defending pole setter, and hopefully with his time, which is pretty fast, I think he could stay up there, and we'll see if his teammate John Hoffman can also join him up there.
So I think one thing that we see time and time again when it comes to Indianapolis is if you're fast in qualifying, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be fast in the race, and vice versa. So, I mean, I would say that, ooh, a bit of a bobble there out of turn 4 for you. There's a little bit of a different driving style that you take to qualifying versus the race. I think you're pretty aggressive in qualifying. When it comes to the race, sometimes it's not the most aggressive driver that will end up winning. You got to take care of your tires, you got to take care of your equipment over the course of this 500-mile race. Also, saving fuel sometimes is a factor. So there's a different skill set here. So I'm curious to see next week when they run this race how the finishing order will look compared to the qualifying order, because I don't think it's necessarily a one-to-one correlation with speed in qualifying versus speed in the race, but Hoffman comes on through to complete his qualifying effort as Matt Moeller in the 29 comes out on course.
Now Hoffman's actually going to, he pulled off early, and his lap time will be invalidated, so he'll have to come out again.
So Matt Moeller right now 21.010 on the first sector. That's not one of the quicker times we've seen here, but we'll see if he can build up some more speed out of turns 3 and 4 as he comes across the start-finish line in just a moment. And a lot of focus behind the visor in these cars. And this is, you kind of reach another realm of focus when you get into a qualifying session. You're trying to hit the apex perfectly. See that Moeller missed it just a little bit, but if you go up a lane, is there a bit more speed out there, do you think?
I don't think so. I think you want to be as close to that white line, if not below that white line. Actually, you can hear Moeller. You look at the gear, he's in 4th gear. And you're going to hear him shift up into 5th. And he's trying to get the most speed out of this car. We saw some drivers just sitting in 5th, but Moeller using 4th gear in the corner in the 5th at the end of the straightaway. So again, this is an interesting kind of dynamic the way this guy set up the gearing of the car. And I think the big thing to notice too is that almost no one is using 6th.
Yeah, well, I think 6th gear is really just your draft gear, essentially, right? You're not going to touch that gear unless you're getting a huge pull down the straightaway, and that'll be a 41.864, which will be the better of his 2 laps so far. And going back to the shifting, really 6th gear at most ovals is really just a gear that you use in the draft. I mean, you're not really touching 6th, and you're actually using a lot of 4th gear as well at some of the shorter ovals like Phoenix or Gateway and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of shifting going on in these race cars, but I don't think you'll see anybody hit 6th in qualifying. There's just too much drag on these cars by themselves to really attain their full top speed. Moeller in the 29 coming on through to complete his 3rd lap. And this time it'll be about a 41.752, which will be a little bit quicker than his previous lap.
So starting to pick up some speed here. I think this should be his final lap, and either will be.
Moeller, a independent driver. He's Canadian, working his way, so not too far from here, where we are physically. And that time through, curious to see, he's going to bail out on that as well. So he'll pop on in. And Mike Gerlicka in the 31 coming out on course right now, and he's going to start his qualifying effort. And Gerlicka from GDG Racing from Ohio, but not too far from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I venture to say he's probably been there a few times.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he hasn't been.
I mean, if you're a racing fan and you're anywhere near Indianapolis,
if you're in one of the neighboring states,
it's the mecca of American motorsports. If you're anywhere close to it, I mean, it's just, I don't want to say it's an American pastime, the Indy 500, like baseball or apple pie or whatever they want to, I don't know if apple pie is a pastime, maybe for some people. But I mean, again, if you're close to Indianapolis, 350,000 people every year go to that race. I mean, I venture to say most people in Indiana are in Indianapolis for that weekend.
It just always, makes me, smile to brag that that's pretty much one of the most, attended sporting events as far as physical attendees at 350,000.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
it's
sure
one of the largest. I think it actually is the largest sporting venue on the planet.
I would be surprised if anything beats, because usually racetracks are the biggest physical venues.
a 20.583 sector. That's one of the quicker times we've seen. It'll jump him up to 7th on the overall lap speed chart with a 41.144. And rolling on through onto the back straightaway to pick up some more time. What will sector on lap number 2 be? It's going to be a little bit slower at a 26.55. Yeah, and the cloud cover is going to help immensely. As the clouds come over this racetrack, we looked at the conditions earlier, it was 125, already 2 degrees drop to the average temperature of the surface. So the cloud cover is going to be extremely important. We heard Josh Baird say earlier that the track conditions are awful for qualifying. They're not fast right now, and really, the cloud cover is going to help everybody that comes later as this track drops in temperature.
It's not going to be, I guess, maybe a huge difference, but I think, every little bit's going to count, especially when you consider how hot the track is. Any little drop is going to give these guys just a little bit more grip and go a little faster.
When you take a look at, drivers like Josh Baird, they're going to see people go later, and once the clouds come over, you're not sure if it's the cloud cover or if it's the setup or the driver. So when you get to next Sunday, you don't really know how you compare because the conditions were so different. You see in turn 3 and 4 completely covered by clouds.
It's a lot of cloud cover now as it comes across the line. I don't know if it will really be a whole lot of a different thing for Lucas on the next driver down. Lamp. Dora says,
yeah,
I think it
should be Sasha Lamp in the 42. So Gerlicka right now is 7th on the overall speed chart, but he's been remarkably consistent, 41.1s and 41.2s for all of his laps so far, which should put him fairly high up, at least halfway through the qualifying order. And this should be his final lap here in just a moment.
Yeah, waiting for him to come across the lane. Here he comes. A little bit high out of the groove in turn 4.
And across the line, it'll be a 41.365, the slowest of his 4 laps. We'll see where he lines up as Sasha Lamp gets rolling in the number 42 car. And Lamp from Torque Freak Racing from Germany, another European in the field. Lots of Europeans here. Pretty European-centric series, but we're so used to running or broadcasting for American series. This is a whole pool of talent that we don't normally get to see, because most of the people we broadcast for are in Oklahoma or Connecticut or whatever. So seeing drivers from Germany and Finland and all sorts of France and that sort of thing gives you a whole different perspective, different driving styles. I would venture to say that drivers from different regions definitely have different driving styles, for better or for worse. But Sasha Lamp from Germany, a country that's got a lot of racing history. And on the first sector, it was a 21.052, so just a little bit slower than Gerlicka's time at the line. And this lap will be a 41.897, not a great first lap. We'll put him slowest of the cars that have gone so far. Oh, big impact out of turn 1. Into the fence, riding the concrete through turns 1 and 2, and that'll be the end of that qualifying effort. Wow. That was a big impact there. Here's a look.
The thing might have just been a little bit too far to the groove here.
Yeah, just big understeer through the center of the corner and just commits to throttle and just misjudges the exit.
That's right. I want to ride on board with it too, because you really see, good on entry, but you see just gets tight in the middle of the corner, tries to back out of the gas, but just
didn't have the rotation in the car to get it to turn through the center there. So Sasha Lamp's session will end early, and now we're going to have Nate Michael on the course in the number 15 car as he gears up for his qualifying effort.
Yeah, a lot of invalidated time so far in the other part of qualifying. I have only 9 guys with a time down. At least
officially.
Who have completed their runs.
Again, the timing and scoring at the top of the screen is done by the fastest lap of the session, not by the average of the 4 laps. Again, I spent about 7 hours yesterday trying to get that to work, but iRacing doesn't output the data necessary to do that, unfortunately. I tried to pull some programming magic, didn't work, unfortunately. So Nate Michael out on course in the number 15 car. Pretty bare bones basic scheme there, but I like the iZod logo and sponsorship up there on the roll hoop.
I think a lot of guys also are not able to run schemes because we are subject to iRacing's.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, that's why they've. Gone
yeah, because I think they're on the Esports Network next week, aren't they? That would be why. Okay, I was gonna say I don't care.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't care, but unfortunately iRacing does. So on their Esports Network, so.
Yeah, so Nate Michaels 20.544. That's a really good first sector. And And a 41.029 was 5th quickest of everyone so far in that number 15.
Yeah, only from what I can see, only Bennett and Cook have been the only drivers to crack down under the 41. Actually, even throw in Hoffman in there as well. Have been the only drivers to put a lap time under the 41 second mark.
Yeah, we're actually hearing that Sasha Lamp ran the wrong setup for qualifying, which, you know, those mistakes happen. If you remember back to Indianapolis last year, the real world Indy 500, Fernando Alonso had a very similar situation. I think it was with the gearing. Or was it the gearing or the suspension? There was something that they didn't change.
Oh, yeah.
And it was I think pretty sure it was the gearing.
Yeah, because he crashed out in practice. So
right.
They had to put backup parts in the car, yeah.
Yep. So that was a big mistake there for Sasha Lamp. Well, at least they'll get an opportunity to try again later. Nate Michael, a 40.909 on lap number 2, which was an improvement. And it'll put him 3rd quickest overall. And that average lap, a 220.909 miles an hour. We're breaking the 220 mark easily. Still, Henry Bennett and Matt Cook, the only drivers to have broken the 221 mile an hour barrier so far today. 40.933. Very consistent again, and very consistently fast is this 15.
Obviously up inside, that should put him pretty much in 3rd place very solidly. We'll see here. Keep that pace up. Looks like it at the moment. At the sector
20.457. That's another really good sector time. That was quicker than his first lap.
Should be aiming for an under 41 second lap again. And consistently just over that mark. Wow!
Holy cow, that was real tight out of turn 4.
Not the first time we've seen someone come really tight.
Yeah, that gave it all up away. But, you know, it wasn't. He would have been faster, but he still ran a 40.972, so that was still a good lap. That could have been pole if he didn't make that mistake there.
And I think he's just not worried about it at the moment. Just really just a matter of getting in that Fast 9 shootout. And remember, at the end, so basically the way Fast 9 works, if you're not familiar with IndyCar qualifying, top 9 drivers will be taken off the order. Essentially, it's like F1 style qualifying, or even NASCAR's current format. Take the fastest 9 drivers, and they get to go again for a shootout. I believe it's still also 4 laps. And they'll be placed in order of that order, not necessarily the order they're running at now.
Jonathan Diggs out on the course in the number 45 car. Gearing up, he's from GDG Racing, another GDG car, this time from the Atlantic region. Cross the line to start his lap. Right on board, 45.
Getting out of the throttle there, out of turn 2. This lap's probably not going to be as fast as you would like.
Yeah, take a look at sector time of 21.218. Not very good for that first half of the lap. But again, 4-lap average, you have time to save it. You know, a lot of series are 1 and done or 2 and done, and you get 1 or 2 chances to do it. Here you get 4, but your bad laps will also count along with your good ones. They don't just take the quickest. So across the line, 219 miles an hour, and that one will be a 42.329, by far the slowest of everyone so far. Half a second off. Big understeer in turn 1 for the 45. Something's not quite right with this car, I don't think.
Yeah, I think he's really struggling with the conditions. Again, I just don't think the car's set up for the hot conditions. You see a lot of understeer out of the corners. That's pretty much killing his momentum.
Yeah, we have dropped a couple degrees from the start of the session, but still, again, a lot of drivers didn't anticipate it being quite this warm. And so he's the slowest of the drivers that have gone so far. We'll see if he can pick up on lap number 2.
See out of turn 4 too. A lot of guys struggling. Looks like he's flying out. Oh! I thought he was for a second there, but got really close to the wall. Might have flipped it a bit.
This is going to be still a 42.507, even slower. I had to imagine a similar situation to Sasha Lamp. I don't know if is he off? No, he's still going.
I don't think it counted that last lap.
Oh, it didn't.
Yeah. So he might call it a day here.
I would. I mean, this is not going well. I think you're going to have to pull off, reevaluate. There he goes. He's going to pull off and abandon this lap.
Yeah, that's pretty much from that lap being invalidated, because you only get 4 laps. You don't get no more or less, really. So I think we'll have to go out there yet again.
A lot of drivers really struggling to get 4 consistent laps. And again, I think it's the conditions that are the biggest struggle so far for drivers.
And also, Michael, his time updated on the charts. He's currently second on the board.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
very consistent run for the 15.
So Henry Bennett overall has the quickest lap of 40.855, but it'll only put him, I think, third quick on the average lap chart. Actually, no, fourth quick, I believe. Henry Bennett? Third, okay. Henry Bennett again with the quickest overall time, but Joshua Chin in the 93 rolling out on track right now, a driver we're familiar with from more than one series that we broadcasted on SYM TV, but most recently the Indy Elite Series that runs on Sunday nights. Not running this week, but we'll be back with them next week continuing their championship. And Chin's had some success there. And starting his lap in his Craig Setup Shop sponsored number 93. I know that's a service that you use quite a bit.
Yeah, indeed. Very nice setups and very convenient of use, and also you can use it with the Amazon Prime or Twitch Prime.
Not sponsored by them, but no, Joshua is.
And also, Joshua races in the Indy Elite Series on our channel.
Just mentioned that, yeah, so they'll be back with us next week. 20.502, pretty good first sector. This should put him inside the top 5 if he can finish off the second half of the lap as well as he did the first half.
I feel like he should probably be up there with this first time. It should be about a 41 second. Maybe a little bit under, a little bit over.
40.945. That'll be good enough for 5th quick overall.
Still has a lot of room to improve. You can see him too. He's running really close to the grass here. Watch his entry into turn 2. Look at
wow.
that.
And again, a lot of drivers have been a little bit afraid to dip their tires below that white line because of that curve that's down there.
Everyone don't want to touch that, but you know, you got the practice and you know exactly how much you need to turn in.
Quicker that time at 20.457 at the halfway mark.
Every single inch of racetrack here up into the walls off the corner.
But he's not understeering up to the wall, which a lot of drivers have been struggling with. So across the line for lap number 2, what's it going to be? A 40.889. That's going to be good enough for 3rd quick overall. What a lap, 221.021 miles an hour. Only the 3rd driver today to eclipse that 221 mile marker. So Chin is flying right now. And more drivers are joining and getting ready to set up for their qualifying efforts this afternoon. We should have about 30, a little bit over 30 cars. I think there's 33 starting next week, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it should be 38 registered to put in a time for this afternoon. We got a lot of guys also having to redo their runs at the end.
Across the line for lap number 3, a 40.942, just a little bit slower than his last lap, but this is going to be a really strong average. Should be easily top 5 as long as this last lap doesn't end up in the fence like we've seen a bunch of other drivers so far.
I think as long as he can aim for under a 41 second lap, I think he should be more than good to be in the fast 9.
Again, speed's well over 220 miles an hour on the end of the straightaways. And that time through a 20.510, incredibly consistent over the 4 laps. And that's really what this kind of format encourages, is consistency. And because you don't want, Henry Bennett we see is the best lap time overall of 40.855, but he's not the quickest. He's only 3rd or 4th quick right now on the speed charts overall once you average those laps. So I think consistency is important. Last lap was a 41.084, the slowest of his 4 laps, but should solidly put him inside the top 3 or 4 once the average lap time has been computed.
Johnny Garrett now, next driver on the charts, getting ready to start his first of 4 laps.
And down the front straightaway, lining up for turn number 1. And Johnny Garrett, another GDG Racing car from California this time. GDG Racing from all over the country. I think they had Ohio, they had the Atlantic, California.
They covered all their bases.
They certainly did. All the time zones and everything. First sector, 20.525, not too shabby. That's where we're seeing most cars. I think sub 20.5 is really where we're seeing competitive times that might grab the pole.
Justin gone 3rd fastest in the qualifying times at the moment. So it's Cook, Michael, Chin, and Bennett, your top 4 as far as qualifying order.
41.011 across the line should put him about 7th quick in the 68 car.
That's pretty solid first lap time. I think we're definitely seeing the second lap being the fastest of everyone's lap, and then just a little bit of falls after. So I think these guys, the way they have their cars set up, their tires starting or just losing a little bit of grip over the 3rd and 4th lap. But again, that's what we were talking about too. This format
that was 3/10 off that time through.
Yeah, the format rewards consistency.
Yeah, and this is not going to be a consistent lap for Johnny Garrett. I'm not really sure where he lost the time He's been pretty smooth so far, but that was 3/10 off. Oh, scraping the wall out of turn 4. He'll probably bail out on this lap. Well, he's still in throttle here.
Well, he's still on throttle. I think he might think that will count it.
It's not going to count it. It'll be a 41.537, and he might just bail out of this. But again, we've seen a lot of drivers understeering because the track conditions have been so tricky so far. It's still 122. Not much of a tailwind either on either of the straightaways. Only 3 miles an hour out of the northwest, the wind right now.
Well, he's still going to continue out there.
Yeah, he's still going. Through 3 and 4 now to set up for his final lap. And you can hear the tires big time understeering through turn 4, and that's he's going to bail there. Actually, let's go back and just listen. Just hear those tires. They're working too hard. Didn't get turned in for turn 4 quite enough. So he had to bail out of that. Jamie Wilson in the 87. Setting up for his effort.
Teammates with Dr. Chin.
I'd say livery looked familiar. Different color this time. And Jamie Wilson from Team Chimera, and no location on Jamie, but working his way through 3 and 4 to set up for his first lap. And we'll see Joshua Chin right now, best lap time, 3rd on the charts. We'll see if Wilson can match that.
Again, we're really seeing that the teammates have been sticking together, which I'm not too terribly surprised with. You can imagine the teammates would share setups with one another, share information. But 87 out there on his lap.
Yeah, we'll see what the qualifying effort is for Jamie Wilson. But across the sector line, 25.63, pretty much on par with everybody else through back straightaway. We saw Chin break the 20.5 marker on his 2nd lap on the sector time. And we'll see as he comes out of turn 4 to line up for his first lap what this time will be. Going to be a pretty decent one, 41.090. That'll put him 7th quick, I believe. 10th quick. And you see how much more rotation this car has. You can almost feel it turning underneath you. Rotating the car through the center of the corner. That's not what the previous driver had. That previous driver being that of Johnny Garrett, I think.
So Wilson out there still.
Oh, another consistent sector time at 25.56.
Yeah, again, I think that's also a big thing too. If you can't go for raw pace, I guess next best thing to go for is for consistency over your lap times.
Wow. 500 separating his previous versus his best, and it'll be to the green for his best lap of 41.040. That'll put him up into P8 overall, which is a lap time of 220.207 miles an hour average lap. And just these Chimera cars have been glued to the racetrack. I'm just loving how they turn, and I think this will be good in traffic. I just worry that once they lose the air on the nose, they might struggle a little bit with oversteer in traffic. And getting loose if they don't have a lot of downforce on that front nose. So across the line, 41.124, touch slower that time through, but still pretty consistent, less than a 10th off.
Hopefully these guys got the cars sorted out of both qualifying trim, because otherwise it's going to be a struggle. But I definitely you can definitely see guys who have their cars dialed up for these conditions, and the drivers that don't. And you can see a lot of them struggling on the exit, understeer out the corner, but some of them, like the 87, is really planted. You can see he's not struggling at all with that car.
Yeah, I'm just really liking this team in particular. The way that they have their car set up. I just see a lot of rotation, which I think will help later on the older tires as the cars start to build some understeer into them. A 41.240. So lap 1 was the second quickest. Lap 2 was the quickest. Then lap 3 and 4 after that. So that will be the end of Wilson's qualifying effort. Karsten Bordeaux in the 35 out on course right now. Lining up for the start of his lap. 35, the IndyCar Enthusiast Racing team from another driver from Germany.
A little bit of off-throttle.
Yeah, a lot of off-throttle. I really do think the conditions are catching out so many drivers, just with the amount of understeer that they're facing in turn 4 specifically. But we've also seen a couple cars get caught out in turn 1.
See, 20.8 for the sector. A lot of off throttle. That's really going to be costing the 35 a lot of time.
We'll see what it is as he crosses the line for the first time.
It'll be about a 41.6.
41.545. Good guess there. And that'll put 18th quick on the speed charts, which is certainly not where the 35 wants to be, so we'll see if he can improve on lap number 2.
Looking a lot more in control this time around.
Yeah, a little bit better. I like the livery on this. It's got like the landscape on the side of the side pod. A lot more space to paint on these cars versus the IR-18.
Yeah. A lot more boxy, I guess, in nature.
I mean, the IR-18 is a beautiful race car, but I think these sound better, to be honest.
No, they do, yeah. I prefer the sound of these cars compared to the DW12 and IR-18.
Cross line, 41.519. That was going to be a bit of an improvement, but not a big enough one to improve positions on the speed charts. Bordeaux in the 35 down the back straightaway again for lap number 3, trying to improve again on a 41.5. It's kind of stuck. And I just wonder if there's any drivers that are seeing these conditions and making changes before they go out, trying to adjust the tire pressures and adjust the the cross weight, trying to get, you see big understeer again out of 3 for the 35. But I think drivers are trying to make adjustments to their car because they know right now, watching these other drivers, how much they're struggling with understeer.
Speaking of which, you saw Bordeaux almost get the safer barrier.
Yeah, 41.679. That was slowest of the 4, and that will be 3rd lap. And one more to pick up.
Car's looking a lot better throughout the run.
Well, it was looking better, but then it seemed like there was some understeer out of 4, so I'm not really sure. It hasn't really been consistently in the same areas for the 35. Yeah, big lift there in the middle of 3. And a bobble out of the exit. Across the line for lap number 4, it's going to be a 41.703, which will not be enough to improve the 35 on the speed charts. Andrew Eder Saunders in the 12, lining up for the first of 4 laps. In the number 12 car this afternoon. Iconic Motorsports, another German driver. And a bit of a flash there. Now, I don't know if it was, I don't think that was on our end, but we'll see if that'll make the, that was a big struggle out of turn 2. And that's distracting. Again, I don't know if that was us or that was him, but, I think he's going to bail immediately on this lap. But that will distract you. I mean, if you don't have your internet perfectly sorted out, if you have a flash, it first of all, won't count your time. Second of all, it's extremely distracting to have that happen.
Saunders, unfortunately, in the first lap, is going to have to already pull the pit road both with the internet flash and into the wall. So, next driver out could be...
no driver currently on course right now as we wait for...
Should be Stanley.
Marshall Stanley.
Yeah, Marshall Stanley, 25.
Yep, I don't see... Oh, Marshall Stanley's already run a time, though. So I think he'll probably go again. But waiting for the next driver to pull out on the racetrack right now. Here's a look at your current order of lap times and the separation between them as we take a slight intermission here. Henry Bennett again, not currently the pole sitter, but the driver with the quickest lap so far.
I'll go ahead and read out the drivers I have in here. So this is according to, again, the actual, what will be determining the actual lineup, the average time of the 4 times. But currently it is Cook, Michael, Chin, Bennett, Shumaki.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah. Oh, God.
There we go. Try it again. This is fun. Making you talk.
Wilson, LaVille, Brozier, Gerlicka, Bard, Schoolmeister, Strum, Bordeaux.
All right, Marshall Stanley out on course now.
You apologize if I can't pronounce your name.
Well, different regions of the world and we're also not the brightest bulbs in the basket.
No, I'm
or
very
whatever
horrible.
the saying
I'm very
is.
horrible with names, which is makes me question.
You know,
why I'm even doing this.
sometimes I take a really good guess at it, and I get lucky, and sometimes I get it completely wrong, even though it's like John Brown. You know, and I say something ridiculous. I don't know. Anyway, so starting the lap. Number 1 for Marshall Stanley. This is the second attempt for the number 25.
Oh, we got really close to the wall off of one there.
See if Stanley can improve. VRS sponsorship on the side of this car. As well as MPI across the line.
Where he is at the sector.
21.031.
Yeah.
It's not great. About a half a second off from where we're seeing most of the top 10 contenders right now.
Yeah, it's looking at like a 42-second lap time, maybe a 41.8, 41.9. If he can improve in the second half, but that's pretty slow for a first lap.
Yeah, that won't be an improvement if he were to run a 41.8. And it will be a 41.740, which is not an improvement on his best lap, but maybe just trying to get some more consistent laps here. They're currently 20th on the board of overall lap time.
Across the sector you'll go.
Oh, I didn't know you were going to say that, but 20.741. That is an improvement. Don't know if it'll be enough to save this effort as a whole, unless he runs this the next couple laps. But this should, if he were to complete this lap, it'd be about a, what's that, a 41.4?
Yeah, 41.4 ish.
That'll improve him up a couple spots.
41.3.
Yeah, it'll jump up to 16th overall.
So car looking a lot stronger in the second sector. Second part of the lap.
We'll see what sector number 1 time is for Marshall Stanley on the second attempt at qualifying at 26.96. So that's a third lap improvement. Well, we haven't seen a lot of drivers do that.
Yeah, so we've been picking up more and more speed. Coming out of 4 this time, so slowly been improving. It's on a slow climb for the 25.
And this should be an overall improvement in the average lap time, regardless of if it's not a huge improvement in lap time overall. 41.302, still quicker. So third lap was the quickest for Marshall Stanley. We'll see if fourth can be even faster.
Fortunately, that first lap, though, is going to bog down his time quite a bit. But nonetheless, if he can improve and give it one last hurrah here on this final lap.
20.827, a little bit slower. Rolling through 3 and 4 now to finish out second qualifying.
Here he comes, and across the line for his final lap for Marshall Stanley via 41.5 on the dot. So quite slower than his time, and that'll put him, let's see, it'll put him 12th on the timesheets at the moment.
Wow, that is a pretty decent-sized improvement for Marshall Stanley. All right, next driver up. I was dreading this name.
Yeah, I'm just going to
I'm sorry. I apologize in advance.
The 96.
There you go. Yeah.
I apologize.
If someone in the chat's watching and has a better idea, has a phonetic pronunciation, I'm not even going to try. I don't want to embarrass myself. The 96 car. Look, here's the thing. When we work with every other group, we get a couple weeks. The first week, you're really embarrassing. The second week, you kind of get some of the names figured out. By week 3, generally, you got everybody. I didn't get a chance to get this one. I don't think there's... Google Translate would give you an error message for this one. Oh, a lot of rotation through the center of the corner. Love of this 96 is handling.
I was going to say, name aside, driver in there really fast at the moment. We'll see where they end up at the line for their first lap.
The 96 car, another Finnish driver. What is it with Finland? And 41.255. That'll be good enough for 15th quick overall.
A lot of Finns and Germans in this series.
German names are a little easier.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what sector time is on lap number 2 for Vesa. 26.55. Is that the same time he ran last lap? It's awful close. Consistency so far. Ooh, bit of a understeer through turn 2. Or, excuse me, turn 3 there. Wrong end of the racetrack.
Might have been fast to leave that car, definitely looking very stable. Now running straight up to the wall like we've seen a lot of the drivers for the second lap.
41.216.
Yeah. Very consistent.
Yeah, very consistent. Jump him up one spot. A little understeer through turn 1. Oh, a bit of a scrape to the wall there in the middle of turns 1 and 2, and that should invalidate this lap time, unfortunately, for Vesa. He's going to continue.
Yeah.
And it did slow down the second time by about 0.2 of a second. A big lift into 3 there as well.
And these cars very fickle. Once you get some damage on them, that car is going to be significantly slower than it was beforehand. But nonetheless, this 96 is going to come still across the line.
It still should be a pretty decent effort. Again, I don't think this lap is going to count. 41.411.
No.
And no, it will not. So another big lift through turn 1 for the 96. We'll try to recover this as best he can. So at the end, once everyone had a chance to get their qualifying effort in, we're going to have a short break, and then we're going to be back with the Fast 9 qualifying, which will be the 9 quickest drivers. We'll get to go and set the top 3 rows of the grid, and Vesa is going to bail out on this, and it'll leave Daniel Schoolmeister come back out on the racetrack in the 08.
Yeah, he already actually came out there to put a qualifying effort down.
Yeah, we're getting into some repeats now. Schoolmeister, another iconic motorsports car from California. And he has already been out once so far. Going to try to improve on a second lap out. Let's just ride on board, just listen to this thing for a lap. Schoolmeister's second lap should be a bit of a pickup from the first, a 41.085. We'll see if this is an improvement, a 40.954. That'll jump him up to 6th overall in terms of lap time.
Man, he's using every inch of space on the entry, and then almost going to the wall on entry.
Yeah, I'm really liking the balance of this car, though. It seems like it's got exceptional balance to the center. It's got a lot of turn-in, and definitely an improvement from the first effort by the 08. Sector time in lap number 3 is going to be a 20.611, just a touch slower than the first 2 laps.
And the 6th driver of the day to go below the 41-second mark. If we can keep this pace up, it should give him a pretty good time. Let's see where he ends up with this lap.
Be about a 41.0, 41.2, oh yeah, 41.059. And that'll be a pretty decent improvement on the overall average lap. He's got one more to go here. We'll see if he picks up.
This should easily put him inside the Fast 9. Currently out of it and around, I believe, 13th place before he came out here and redid his lap. So
yeah,
it's going to be a good effort.
In terms of overall lap time, he was 14th before, and now he's 6th. So that was a huge improvement lap time-wise, 26.02. A decent sector time here as he comes out of turn number 4 to complete his second qualifying effort, and hopefully his final one as he comes on through. What's it going to be? It'll probably be about a 41.196. A little bit slower.
Yeah, fell off quite a bit at the end there, but I mean, still, again, regardless, it's going to be an improvement for the 08.
Ariel Guerra Jr. in the number 11 car building up for the second qualifying effort of today. The number 11, another independent driver from Florida. As he comes across the line to start his lap.
See where they can end up here as we come out of turn 2. Again, also looking pretty, probably looking pretty high on grip.
Yeah, I want to ride on board through 3 and 4 here just to see the balance of 25.70. That's a really good sector time. Right now, Ariel's buried down in 16th on the fast lap chart. This should be a big improvement here.
Shifting through the corners.
A bit of a slip up in turn 4.
So they'll lose. You heard a lot of drivers complain about their cars being tight. A lot of little loose.
41.056. Pretty good lap, though. Should put him P10. A big lift in turn 1 there.
That's right in turn 1.
That's gonna kill a lot of the lap there. And he was in the 20.5s on his first sector time. We'll see what lap number 2 is. 20.6. Really didn't lose as much as I thought he would. See what this lap is as he comes on through. Yeah, this is his second effort of the day. We've seen a lot of drivers picking up, and that might be because the track conditions, they've dropped 5 degrees from the start. That could be helping quite a bit.
And I think you could probably see, even if you didn't crash out your time, again, you can still opt to try to put another time down. So you might see some guys who qualified earlier and they might be outside of that fast 9. They might try to, and if they feel they have the pace in the car, they might try to, take another attempt to get themselves in there with the cooler temps.
Ariel comes on through lap number 3 sector time. What'll be a 20.642, remarkably consistent, all within a tenth of a second. Liking how this car looks right now. Oh, big slip in turn 3 though. Didn't quite get down to the apex. Turn 4 a lot better. All right, down a long straight. This straightaway, it just feels like it goes on forever trying to get to that line.
It really does. And across the line it'll come. It'll be a 41.16 for Ariel.
It's not an improvement on its best lap, but again, still pretty consistent. A little bit of a slip up in the exit of turn 1. Final lap here.
Yeah, this car's been definitely a little bit tail happy, it seems, out of some of these corners.
Well, again, you're balancing tail happiness with stability. I think that's what you're struggling with in qualifying, is you can make the car loose, but you're going to crash. You can make the car stable, you're going to hit the fence. So it's that delicate balance of getting this car right in the operating range of where it's just drivable enough, but also turns. Because loose is fast, but you don't want to be drifting around here. That's a different kind of competition. A little tight out of turn 4, across the line this time. We the last lap in Ariel's qualifying effort. What will it be? 41.336. Bit of a fall off there, about 2/10 slower on the last lap. We'll see where that puts him overall. Dan Hoffman in the 0.5 going back out. I'm kind of surprised that Hoffman's returning to the racetrack. He bailed out in his first effort, I think.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Guerra is going to be just outside the fast 9.
Oh, P10.
Yeah.
Fastest lap was a 2:20.170 for Garrett. But again, Hoffman had a really good first lap last time, but ended up bailing out of the effort.
Yeah, this car has really good pace again. He just ran into the wall and that took him out of time. But let's see, still on pace where he left off.
That was really good.
4.57.
Really good sector. And we'll see what this does for Hoffman. Across the start-finish line for lap number 1. What's it going to be for the 0.5? 40.843. That's an improvement. It'll put him P1 on the fast lap chart.
Wow.
Wow, what a lap. 221.270 miles an hour for Jan Hoffman.
Fastest lap of the day so far. And so I was talking about some guys might be looking at this and might try to get a faster time in. So, especially after looking at the 0.5 space, but he will continue on. Let's see if he can keep it up.
Yeah,
a little bit off.
Little off, about a 10th off. But again, that first lap is going to help a lot. So if Jan could just maintain consistent 40.8, 40.9, then he'll be rock solid for at least the pole for now. But we have to still do the fast 9 a little bit later. So across the line this time through, what's it going to be? A 40.991. Again, very solid lap. Big understeer through the center of turn 1. You can hear the tires working hard on the front of that car. Sector time going to be a 20.473. That was the same time as this first lap. We haven't seen a lot of drivers pick up on lap 3. Lap 2 has been the best for most drivers, but maybe Ian saved a little bit. Out of turn 4. This will be a good one. His best lap was a 40.843 across the line of 40.900. That's going to be probably good enough to put him awful close to the pole here.
Yeah, I think it honestly should give him the pole. I mean, that time he put down right there was the 5th. Would have put him, sorry, 4th on the fastest drivers. So he's been really, really fast this run. If he can keep it up for this final lap.
A little slower that time at 20.640, so I don't think he'll have a chance to break his own best lap. But still an incredible time. 221.270. That's significantly faster, a couple tenths of a mile an hour faster than Henry Bennett's best time, which was a 40.855. So a full 100th quicker, which 100th of a second's a lot of time here. So the last lap was a 41.304. That was a big drop off, Finney. That's going to hurt.
Yeah, that 4th time might cost him a bit there. If he kept it a little bit higher, would have been good. We'll see where it ends him up. Fifth.
Oh, that last lap is what really killed him there.
Yeah. 4-0. And you know, when you consider that the first 2 times, and even the the second time wasn't that bad either. That 4th time, I think, definitely is the one that killed him.
Matt Moeller returning to the racetrack in the 29. Trying to go again. Really struggled the first time he went out earlier in the number 29 machine. Again, Matt Moeller, an independent from Canada, in his nicely looking Castrol car. This is a pretty classic looking paint scheme on an Indy car. You have to be so careful and so stable. Fourth gear on the front straight will shift into 5th here. 10,000 plus RPM. 217 miles an hour at the line. We'll see what Moeller's got as he comes on through for the sector. And again, certainly the conditions cooling down. Look, we're down 6 degrees now, 119. That's going to help. 20.987. This is going to be an improvement for this young man, but it's not going to be inside the Fast 9, unfortunately.
Okay, let's see here if we can pick up anything on the second half of the lap.
Should be a little bit of an improvement, but we'll see what it is as he comes across the line of 41.873. No, that's not an improvement. I'm not really sure where he's losing time. It just seems like it might be on the straightaway. I mean, he looks really stable in the corners, but he's just not getting a good enough launch out of the back straight to really build up a whole lot of speed.
Yeah, and it could be, again, with these guys playing around with the downforce levels. Gotta have more downforce in the corners, and again, that helps in the corners, but you got all these very long straightaways to navigate. With the more track, you're gonna be going slower down them, so it's really that fine balance. And just finding a balance of straightaway speed and cornering speed.
If he runs both sections identical, it's be a 41.6, which would be an improvement, but I think he's losing time. 41.718. That is the fastest lap he's run, but it's still 2 tenths off the next driver.
So this is, I believe, also on a time. In his first run,
I think he did have times down. I don't know if he bailed on it or not, but sector
didn't complete.
Yes, sector on his 3rd lap, 20.813. So that's the quickest of the 3 he's done so far. Actually, I think that was a little slower than lap 1. Across the line, what's the 29 going to run? This is still not going to be an incredible qualifying effort of 41.638, an improvement, but still about a tenth off the 21st place car.
Yeah, it's his fastest lap of the session, but yeah, he's currently back in 22nd as far as fastest lap time.
Yeah, he's going to be disappointed with this, but again, this is your opportunity to make changes. If you know your car is going to be slowing out, I mean, you've stacked yourself up against everyone else in the field. That's one thing we kind of really talked about, is that a lot of these drivers probably haven't really measured themselves up to everybody else just yet. You hear that? What was that?
Yeah.
That was a strange situation there. We're going to go back and look at that in just a moment, but it sounded like he was tacking out. .41621, another improvement. Let's go back and just look. I think he hit the top of the rev limiter here. Listen. Oh, yeah. So, what's your thought on staying in 5th versus shifting to 6th?
I mean, I guess it depends on how long you stay there. Yeah, obviously if you shift, the RPMs are going to drop, and I guess since he was so close to the end of the straightaway, he decided to stay in it. So for that,
it was the 29 car. The 16's back out on track, trying again. 20.913 in his first sector.
Moeller actually pulled off for his
I thought he had one more lap to go.
Yet again a little bit later, but Alex Taki in the 16 car will go back out yet again.
All right, best lap was a 41.5, but he just ran a 41.7. So no improvement yet. What will the sector be this time around? A 20.960. It really doesn't seem like these drivers that didn't really have very good runs earlier, they're not really picking up a whole lot here.
Yeah, I'm not sure, again, you would think...
I would have expected them to, just because the track temp's fallen so much.
And quite a bit, too. I mean, it's dropped to almost 7 degrees. And when
yeah.
you consider that it was 125 earlier, it's a big drop down to 118, so...
Yeah, this is actually significantly slower, almost a half a second off of his best lap from earlier.
Yeah.
Oh!
Whoa!
Contact out of turn 1 there.
It's just not in a rhythm, and it's just not getting a lot of speed out of the car at the moment. We'll see if he continues this effort or if he decides to back up again. I guess he might as well continue this song, because otherwise he's not going to have a time at all.
Well, that's the thing you mentioned earlier. If you go out for a second effort, that's your time. It overwrites your previous one, and they don't take your fastest. So if you go out and run slower, you just ran slower. So the 16 out of turn 4 will likely drop him down the order here. But at 41.735, yeah, not looking so good. A couple more drivers have joined the session, preparing for their effort. And we're closing in on the end of the field here shortly. Then we'll have a break until the Fast 9 qualifies to set the official top 9 running order.
As far as from the looks of it, drivers have to ask the admins if they want to go out for some time. Can't just go there at your free will. You gotta ask them. I'll give you a time slot. So last run is looking to be at around 3:30 our time.
Yeah, it's about 20 minutes from now. Across the line for Alex in the 16 car, a 41.7. Well, he's consistently around a 41.7. Unfortunately, it's just a little bit off his first run pace. So as he pulls off Sasha Lamp in the 42, the mistake previously was he put the wrong setup on the car. And that was a big mistake, but he'll get an opportunity to correct that mistake.
Well, you didn't really even get to see much of the 42's pace last run.
Well, we didn't really know what he actually was going to run because it was probably the race setup and not the qualifying setup. We talked earlier with, I believe it was, not Josh Chin, it was... Who jumped in here? Oh, Josh Barrett in the 23 car. He jumped in here and was saying, yeah, there's a pretty big difference between qualifying and the race sets, and you try to build it specifically for each event. 20.785 sector time.
This could be pretty decent here as it comes across the line. 41.49.
Oh, yeah.
That's 5.9. So.
Yeah, there's a bit of a pickup, but not a whole lot. Again, now that you got that muscle memory from your first lap out, or your first attempt out, it's hard to kind of get out of that habit. You don't really know what your car has to push. That's kind of the advantage of getting it right the first time, is you expect what the car is going to drive like. And I don't think Sasha was expecting it to drive like it did last time. Now he's got his muscle memory all messed up. A 20.859, this will be a little bit slower so far.
Yeah, so I was going to say, really with that first time out, you can improve quite a bit. You can also lose quite a bit. Unfortunately, doesn't look like 42 is going to improve much from that for his lap time. Here they come across the line from a 41.459 to a 41.553. A little bit of drop off for Lamp.
So this really doesn't seem to be a big pickup, which I was surprised. I would have thought that Sasha would have picked up a lot because, like we said, the setup was wrong. You'd think that they would have corrected that and we would have seen a big pickup, but for the 42, I hope they didn't make the same mistake twice. But I can't imagine that would be the case. It's probably more of just, they just seemed like they just missed it just a little bit. through 3 and 4. Currently 20th overall on the timing and scoring sheets. With a best time of 217.978 miles an hour. Across the line, 41.755.
One more lap for 42 of Lamp.
We'll see who's next up on the order. Should be Hans Pekkanen in the number 8 car, who currently sits just ahead of Sasha on the timing sheets. A little bit tight out of 4 there, almost got in the fence, but across the line, probably a disappointing second run for Sasha Lamp. Across the line, 42.255. That was really off. That was almost the slowest lap we've seen so far, so not really the direction the 42 wanted to be going.
I'm looking at their sign-ups for the time slots, and a lot of fast guys putting their names down to get one final run in. Not too surprised.
I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, you again, it's not guaranteed that you get that starting spot again, but I think there's a lot of confidence because of the track conditions changing so much. Josh Barrett said earlier that the track conditions were awful. Well, they're still awful, but they're a little bit less awful now. 118 degrees versus 125. That's going to be a huge difference when it comes to running at the front of the two. We saw Jan Hoffman pick up several tenths of a second to jump to the top spot on the timing and scoring. So we'll see if anybody else can do that, especially Henry Bennett. Best lap time, or second best lap time of the day, but only about 5th quick on the overall charts. So for Hans Pekkanen, 25.42. That's a really good first sector, actually.
At the line, he will come. Currently is 19th on the timing sheet.
Yeah, this will be a lot better. A 41.031 that picks him up 4 tenths from his previous best time. 9th quick overall.
Let's see if he can improve from that. It's a good baseline time, but needs to go a little bit faster.
Well, we've seen people pick up on lap number 2. That's kind of been the story of the day, is the first lap isn't necessarily the quickest. 20.527, pretty much what he's ran last time. See if the second half of the lap is more fruitful for the 8 car.
Currently, the time to beat for the Fast 9 is about 41.155 average.
Yeah, that's probably going to be good enough. For 41.098, that moves him a little bit closer to that, but he's running pretty consistently. See those 2 laps only separated by 0.06 of a second, a 41.031 to a 41.098.
He should be put in a way that if he continues with this run at the pace he's going, it should put him at about 8th position overall.
And so far his sectors have been in the 20.5s. Again, another 20.5. This is remarkably consistent. Some of the most consistent driving we've seen all day long. Little loose there in 3.
I was going to say a little unstable in turn 3. We'll see how turn 4 goes for the 8. A lot better out of there.
It's still going to be good. I'd say he's probably going to work his way into the Fast 9 with this lap of 40. Ooh!
Yeah, that did hurt.
That was a full 10th off his best lap. One more. And you try to pick up and you get a little bit greedier each lap out.
He'll still be good for that 8th position, though, if he can continue this level. We've seen quite a few drivers, depending on their setup, a lot of fall-off on lap 4.
Yeah, a lot of fall-off. We've seen about a half a second worth in some drivers do. That was 2 tenths off in the sector. And sometimes the momentum from the previous lap carries over and hurts 2 laps, especially if you mess up out of 4.
Same wiggle out of turn 3 there, so this might be where his run falls apart.
Well, you did say that the Fast 9, you're trying to shoot for like a 41.1 average. He should be better than that, as long as this 4th lap isn't slower than... Ooh! Yeah. That was real slow, a 41.666. That's half a second, more than half a second off of his best time, which is going to pull him out of the Fast 9 likely.
Also the devil's time, too.
There's certainly a devil in that race car right now, on lap 4 at least. So Pekkanen will slow down a lot on that last lap. That will severely hurt his opportunity to go for the Fast 9 later.
Yeah, and I think really the big worry, too, is that Johnny Garrett's out there for his time in the 68 car. Also another car we've seen quite a bit of pace out of, but just hasn't been able to nail a time down, or a good time down. But yeah, so I think really the worry too is even if you end up 8th in the Fast 9, there's still a lot of guys getting ready and lining up for another fast run to get themselves in, including Groscher, who we saw, he's currently back in 15th. We saw him put a pretty good lap in earlier, but it mired back a little bit.
So across the line for lap number 1, what's it going to be for Johnny Garrett? His best lap was a 41.011. It will not be an improvement, 0.3 off. It hasn't been consistent. We haven't seen everybody pick up. We've seen about half drivers pick up and half of them be real slow.
Again, I think that really is just down to how these guys have their cars set up, how abrasive they are on the tires. Some a little bit.
Sector time for the 68 this time through would do a little slower, 20.857, 0.2 off, and I don't think this is going to be an improvement. But now the problem is that you're looking at the timesheet, you're looking at the relative box, you're seeing you're not picking up, but you can't bail out because this is what your time becomes. So once you get discouraged, and that gets in your head across the line for lap number 2 for Johnny Garrett. Ooh, a 41.668. This is not going the right direction for Johnny Garrett.
Well, on the bright side for him, it hasn't had a time down at all. Oh, big slide out of turn 2, with a little bit sideways out of there. Struggling with the handling on his car. So now his car is starting to over-rotate. A lot of guys, again, were complaining about understeer. Now he's getting a little bit of oversteer in the middle of some of these corners.
And let's see, the sector for this lap was 20. Ooh, this is gonna drop him way down the order. And sometimes, I mean, he was sitting. I'm fairly certain he was close to the Fast 9, if not already in it. And so this is gonna really be a disappointing run. 42.116 to finish out that effort.
Well, actually, his first run got.
Oh, didn't count. So he's just gonna have to take this. The problem is that he's shown that he's fast. So he just isn't staying consistent.
Yeah, he had I think a wall tap.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah. So he came back down in, but yeah, he put out a pretty solid fast lap time again, consistently though, especially in the second run. His fastest lap on that first one that got him in 8th on our timing and scoring was from his first run. The second run has just not been anywhere near close.
Big slide at a 4. He saw them have to chase it down the hill. Across the line for the last lap of his run. What's it going to be? A 42.247.
So I think he needs to get some more grip in this car and potentially come out here for a third run if he wants to get further up in the qualifying order. But nonetheless, Caleb Weekly will come out for his first time. Haven't seen him.
This is his first effort in the number 10 car. Another iconic motorsports machine, this time from Illinois. They really are from all over the country. Number 10 working his way down turn number 2 and setting up for the long back straight. We really have seen the sector time be a pretty good indication because it's right in the middle of the back straightaway. So it's exactly at the halfway point of the lap. It gives you a fairly good idea if they get both ends of the racetrack the same, how they're going to run. A 24.06, that's really fast in the number 10 car. That's one of the fastest sectors we've seen.
Tracking for that's looking like it might end up to be a 40.8.
Yeah, that would be our quickest lap of the qualifying session. Across the line for a Weekly, what's it going to be? A 40.784. That'll shoot him right to the top of the charts. 221.586 miles an hour.
Well, you got the fast lap in now. You got to make sure it's consistent. That's what I kind of like about this qualifying session. You can't just go balls to the wall for one lap. You have to go, I guess, slightly less balls to the wall for over the course of 4 laps. So again, all about that consistent. We've seen a lot of guys fall off at the end of the run. That run.
He's flying right now.
He's keeping on it. Yeah, it's going to be a 40.9 if he can keep it up.
Yeah, this will be a solid pole-sitting contender today in that number 10 car. So rolling out of turn 4, lap number 2 should be around a 40.9, which will still average out to be 40.878. That still would have been good enough for second overall had that first lap not counted. So he's really flying right now.
He's on a really, really good pace for being pole position by a lot. But again,
yeah, this is not even close right now. I mean, he's a full half a mile an hour quicker average over the course of the lap. 20.443. He's been in the 20.4s the whole session. Loving how this car looks.
Again, we will have the top 9 redistributed with the Fast 9 shootout later on, but he's looking just solid to be in that shootout regardless.
I'm just saying, he's looking just good in general. Another 40.882. It's been slight drop off, but I'm liking the consistency of this car. I'm liking the overall speed of this car. We haven't seen everybody qualify yet, but this 10 car will be probably in the top 3 or 4 come the end of qualifying this afternoon. So Caleb Weekly looking really solid across for the sector on lap number 4. A little slower, 25.28. This could hurt him, though.
Yeah, again, this is where we're seeing that 4th lap, I think, probably be the most critical.
Because it's dropped so many drivers from what otherwise would have been a great average.
Still looking pretty solid nonetheless. Across the line, he will come. It'll be a 40.
9.47. Yeah,
so
that should put him pretty much the quickest car. We'll see where that puts him average, but right now, Caleb Weekly, the quickest car overall by a significant margin. Your current pole sitter, your provisional pole sitter. The 96 goes back out. And this has been a little bit of a struggle for him so far today.
Didn't have a time put down because remember we saw him
bailed.
Yeah.
Another teammate, actually, another iconic motorsports car. This driver from Finland. Long back straightaway now. Again, sector times in the 20.5 and under range is really what we're looking. Ooh, that was fast. 20.490.
It's gonna be a sub 41 second time. That's what he needs here.
This will probably be one of the biggest pickups we've seen because again, he's sitting 17th on the speed charts in terms of fastest lap so far. Across the line, what's it going to be? This should shoot him up into the top 10 of 40.973, good enough for 8th place.
Yeah, so solid job there. And again, got to keep it up.
Yeah, lap one's one thing. Getting them all like that is another thing.
Got to be fast across the whole board if you want to be up inside the top 9. That's pretty much been the story of the day. Ow.
You good? Like bigger tongue? Well, while you're recovering from that, next week I'm really curious because we've seen so much tire drop off over the course of just 4 laps. What happens when you get to these long runs and you're in traffic? You're really going to be struggling to keep your car in control, especially in the field. So I'm a little bit worried about how much tire drop off we've seen this time through. Let's see if this is an improvement for the 96, and it will not be a 41.101, but actually, if you take a look at 9th through about 16th, there's 7 cars within a 10th of a second, and that's really where the 96 just fell into. So, based on another lap here, we'll see if this is another improvement on the sector time, 20.6.
Yeah, that's going to be a 41, looking at a 41.2.
Yeah, which would be about 17th, 18th place, but that first lap's going to save that average, should put him about 13th or 14th if he maintains this consistency. Across the line for another lap. 41.1, picked it up the second half of the lap. Much better than the first effort.
Yeah, so keeping it up definitely in there. I think he should be very close in getting in just inside that fast 9 window. If he can keep that pace similar to the second and third lap. Even go quicker, but we'll see. Here he is at the sector line.
20.578, not too bad. Bit of a pickup from lap 3.
Yeah. A little bit of left off in turn 3 and then in turn 4.
A lot of stability in this car, though. I haven't seen it wiggle yet. Across the line, what's it going to be? 41.2. This should be pretty decent overall. With all within 0.3 of a second, pretty good spread. 8th on the overall lap time chart.
Put him in 9th place.
Yeah, so on the bubble of getting knocked out of the Fast 9 at the moment. Josh Baird in the 23 taking another effort. He was really disappointed in his first effort, and he was the one that was telling us the conditions were awful. But look, it's almost 10 degrees cooler than it was earlier, 116.
And he was he was the first guy that came out when we went live, so it's been quite a while. It's been an hour and a half since then.
Yeah, 20.445, one of the quickest sector times we've seen. This will be competing for, if he picks up even a 10th the second half of the lap, this will be competing for the pole here. Out of turn 4, his best lap time previously was a 41.234. This will be an impressive pickup. A 40.846, good enough for third.
Looking good.
It's amazing how much these drivers can find when you cool off the racetrack just a little bit. Staying really close to the wall. So your thoughts on running up against the fence versus choosing the middle of the road? How much does that affect in iRacing if it's there at all?
Repeat the question, sorry.
I know you're reading a bunch of data right now. Running the fence on the back straight versus running in the middle of the racetrack. In real world, you're trying to get rid of that drag from that aero bubble, but that effect really not super pronounced within the iRacing
No,
service.
yeah, I honestly, I'll run off the wall just, I guess, for looks, but I haven't noticed anything on iRacing. I guess maybe data might show me otherwise, but as a driver, I haven't really felt any driver. You'll see a lot of guys just continuing to run up by the wall. Some will duck off again, I think, just in case.
Yeah, I
You
see Baird staying right up against it.
up
Well,
against, yeah.
the good thing is you stay against the wall, and Baird, you don't have to swerve back over to get back in your arc for turn 3. So there might actually be an advantage to running the wall in the iRacing service. A little bit of a difference from the real world. A little bit of a drop off on lap 3, but his first 2 laps incredibly consistent, both in the 40.8 mark.
Yeah, we'll see if he'll pick it up in Sector 2. We've seen a lot of guys pick it up in the second part of the lap. Well, Steve, it's still below 41.
40.951. This should be a solid, very solid Fast 9 effort. This will be his final lap here. On the long back straightaway, you're carrying as much speed as you can down here, then arcing into 3. Sector time of 24.65, right back up to his first 2 laps.
This should be in here as long as he doesn't bottle it here in turn 4.
This is going to be a good lap. This will be pretty much on par with his first 2. Across the line for Josh Baird, a huge improvement from his first effort, a 40.817. That was his quickest lap of the 4, and will put him second quickest overall.
That's a really good consistency. I think one of the first guys we've seen have their fast lap on the 4th lap. A lot of guys have been getting it in the 2nd and the 3rd.
Zachary Zwar, the Stantera Sim Sport car from Texas, the 025 car. Right on board with him for his lap.
Oh, and Bart actually takes the spot away from Weekly.
Wow, so Baird in the 23, quickest over the course of 4 laps, and has provisional pole at the moment. Triple-digit numbers, not the greatest handled in this, but that's on his end, I think.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we saw the same thing happen to him, or was it another driver?
It was another driver. This is his first effort. And
oh, again, yeah, that's definitely not
yeah. Yeah, it didn't record anything that time.
Oh. That something.
Oh, wait, no, it did. Sorry, I was looking at the sector time. It recorded it. Maybe it was on our end. Interesting. 42.396, so real slow. Not good enough to jump up faster than 26th. And, you know, I wonder, Zachary joined a little bit later, and I'm surprised by that, because you think you'd want to be here early to just get a banker in. Just to kind of feel out your car, then he could go for a second attempt. But this is to be his first, and he'll only have time for this attempt. It's 3:30. We've run out of time for everyone to qualify. So for Zachary Zwar,
I actually say that we do have some more guys putting their time. There's actually quite a few slots left. There's 11.
This is not. Zwar is really off pace right now.
So there's 11 more time slots after free slots left before the Fast 9 shootout. So you still can go for a second run if you want to. Whoa! You went drifting out of turn 2
Yeah,
there.
it was a big slip up. We'll go look at that real quick. It's a big slide, and of course, this has not been going the way he wanted, but here is another look at the slide. It was real high on the exit of 2, and just watch him big. This is the exit of turn 1, who is already kind of off.
Yeah. This is really where I think just had too much turn in.
Yeah, turned in, and then does he get down on the apron maybe? Just tags it. And just a big slide correction back and forth, but for Zachary Zwar across the line, this is not going to be the effort that he needed.
Last lap with a 44.7. Really off the pace.
Yeah, if we take a look, that's his average speed. It's going to be the best lap time is a 221.586 miles an hour. Zwar down in 26th. I think it's about 215, 216. So we'll tell you that when that comes around. Matt Moeller back out on course. This is his 3rd time out.
Definitely making use of the free slots available.
Well, why wouldn't you? I mean,
yeah.
he's struggled, but so why wouldn't you do this? I mean, I think that's the key is if you're struggling, make some changes, go back out and try to run better. If there's slots open, grab them and go.
We got Hosser, and LaVille are the next 3 guys is scheduled to go up after Moeller.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of people jump up into the Fast 9. Groscher was at the beginning of the session, was up inside the top 5 for some time. As well, again, 213 miles an hour average compared to 221.5 for the leader. So, bit of a mistake there by Moeller on turn 1. We'll see what this sector looks like. His best lap time so far is a 41.638. 20.940. Doesn't look like this is going to be an improvement.
Drop quite a bit once you shift down or shift up.
Yeah, 41. He was the driver that hit the rev limiter, right? On the end of the back straight.
Yeah.
So again, he's got. I don't know how much the gearing is adjustable in these cars, but
quite a bit.
Quite a bit. I mean,
you can play around quite a bit.
So maybe he's trying to get fifth gear to be pretty tall for qualifying, but just missed it and going a little bit faster.
With the way these guys are setting up, you typically want to be just below the rev limiter by the time you hit the ends of the straights, ideally. Whether or not that actually plays out how you would like, depending on how you exit the corners, you may end up faster or slower at the end of the straightaway. So that's really kind of the tricky balance too with the gearing.
41.594. That's going to be an improvement, and it's still not going to pick him up any spots on the overall speed chart, though. He's picked up about half a second from his earlier efforts, but just hasn't been able to bridge that gap up to 23rd place. Alex Take in the 23rd place spot. 20.859, about consistent with lap number 2. Strong run out of turn 4. We'll see if this can pick him up the time he's been looking for. This time through, it'll be a 41.635, about a tenth off his best. Moeller. Now, what can you learn for next week? I mean, I think Matt Moeller has learned that if this is the fastest they've got this car going, some big changes, big swings for next week.
Yeah, definitely going to be some big swings, especially I think with the handling too. You got to really tight out of turn 2. Yeah, I think these guys should definitely try to set up a little bit more for the hot conditions. This is a thing too. Last time they ran this event was in 2017. They didn't run it last year. So over that time, we got the the dynamic weather, the whole track heating up with the cooling, all that. So it's changed a lot of the dynamics of the racing and the setups. So some of these guys might be running on older setups because the car hasn't changed. So the setups will still work, but the only problem is the track and the environment has changed. So you gotta hope that they've adapted to these conditions, because otherwise the setups are just not going to work the way they used to.
Matt Moeller pulls off. Most likely will not be an improvement on his times so far. Bit of a break here as Tristan Hauser in the 56 gets rolling. Another teammate to, I believe, Groscher and Timo, I believe.
Yeah. And also Garrett.
Yes. The 56 getting warmed up here on his warm-up lap. Again, here is a look on the left-hand side of the screen of the margins between the best times. 33 thousandths of a second between Weekly and Baird. And the whole field really only separated by just over a half a second.
Yeah, at least by their fastest times.
Yes. Again, the lap times being computed by the average of 4 best laps, or four laps that they have run today. Of course, timing and scoring only provides us with their latest, current, and best times. So we're organizing them in this standings by their best. So Hauser in the 56 rolls across the start-finish line to start his lap. And another Vortex sim racing car from Switzerland this time. Start-finish line, or excuse me, the sector line, 20.585. Not too bad. Not going to be a pole-sitting time. It should be within the top 12 or 13 cars.
I always find it interesting the fact that, Switzerland that banned motorsports.
It's funny because a lot of the Swiss are really good race car drivers too.
Yeah.
But I don't know how that happens. But across the line, 41.113, going to be good enough for 17th. Lost some time in the second half of that lap. We definitely are seeing teammates kind of running in the same breath of wind as each other.
Yeah. Again, not too surprised with that. You want to help a brother out.
Improvement there, 25.52. That should put him about a 41 even, which will be about a tenth of a second pickup.
So this will also be good to see because Groscher is next up, I think, either after this or a second car after this. So this will be kind of a good indication of around where he should probably end up, more or less, give or take a few positions.
41.027, pretty much a 41 flat, will put him up to P12 on the speed charts. Qualifying almost complete. Again, we have the Fast 9 qualifying coming up, I believe, 4:30, which will go to break for until that time, and we'll come back and bring you the Fast 9 qualifying shootout to see who sits on pole for next week's Classic Indycar Series Indy 500, which will be on the iRacing Esport Network with RaceSpot TV next week. Still another pickup, a 20.512 on the sector for Tristan. .002, another pickup, and that'll be good enough for P10. But just sitting on the outside of the Fast 9. See what the sector time is on his final lap here. 20.476, still picking up Finian. In the 20.4s, that's good enough. I mean, that's good enough to sit second right now if he had run all 4 laps like this.
This is interesting. He's been continuously picking up speed. I guess he's been taking it a little bit easier on the first 2 laps and then just pushing a little bit more every lap after.
Yeah, this will be a good lap. What is it going to be? A 40.978. Good enough to actually won't move him up any spots. We'll get him just that much closer to 9th place 96 car. We'll see. That should be the end of... Is this his last lap here? Lost count of what lap we're on here. I think this is it.
Done.
Robert Groscher in the number 3 out on course. The teammate to Tristan. Setting up for another lap. Currently on it already.
Earlier on, times them out in much harder conditions if you can bring up the track conditions.
Wow, look at that, a 20.413.
Yeah,
that's the quickest sector time we've seen all day long, and it should be good enough to pick up and go for the pole here this afternoon. What's it going to be across the line? Robert Groscher in the 3 car. Here he comes to the checkers. A 40.858, lost a little bit in the second half of the lap, only good enough for 5th.
Yeah, that's the 5th fastest of the times we've seen so far today.
Wow, that sector time was really good, though. We'll see if he can pick up. His teammate just did.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was thinking he should be more or less around where his teammate is. It looks like he's a little bit faster.
Oh, even quicker, 24.06.
Picking up time as his run's going on, which is exactly what he needs because he already started a really good baseline.
Yeah, flirting with the quickest time of the day. 221.586 miles an hour. Can Robert Groscher beat that? Across the line, here it goes. 40.776, P1 for the 3.
Fastest time today so far for Robert Groscher, and we'll see if he can keep this up here because he's going to be have provisional pole if he keeps up this pace here.
Yeah, 221.630 miles an hour. Sector time this time. Are we going to break a 20.4? We do! A 20.363 at the sector.
Man, he's incredible.
He is flying right now. And drivers don't have access to this. Well, I guess they do have access to the sector times, but I don't know how many drivers are necessarily focused on that. They're just focusing on hitting their lines. But can he improve on a 40.776 across the line? And he does! A 40.767 for Robert Groscher.
Here he comes for his final. This is his final lap here. So we've seen a lot of guys fall off, but this setup in this car seems to be good.
A little bit of a shake through turn 1 and 2 there.
A little bit. If he can keep it up, if he can get it at least a 40.9, you should definitely have
this will easily have him P1 by a huge margin. But again, we're going to erase all those times and go for the Fast 9 here. 20.396, a little slower than lap 3, but this is going to be the most consistent and the fastest run we've seen so far.
That's still looking at a 40.7 or 40.8.
An
so
incredible
across the line.
Incredible effort by Robert Groscher. What's it going to be for the final of the 4? A 40.803. Awful consistent P1 for the 3 car, easily with provisional pole.
No doubt in my mind, it's going to be quite a bit too.
Wow, what a lap. Lucas Laville in the 2 car out on course now. He has set times earlier in the day before we went live.
He's currently on the outs. He's one of those drivers currently on the outside looking in.
And starting his lap right now. Lucas Laville in the 2 car. Vortex Sim Racing from France. So a Frenchman at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with his effort right now. What's it going to be?
It's going to be tough to upstage Groscher.
Oh my
Maybe not.
goodness.
Maybe
that,
not.
I think that was the quickest. I think a 23.63 was what Grosser ran. So a full 100th of a second quicker. Can he pull it off and beat the 3 car's best time?
Here he comes.
221.68 miles an hour. Can LaVille beat it? Across the line, 40.608 by a 10th of a second goes the 2 to the top of the board.
Wow, that's by a 10th and a half.
That
He'll
was
go to the top. That's incredible.
a lightning quick lap for Lucas. I mean that we're gonna see. Oh yeah, first car over 222 miles an hour with that time. Little bit off on lap number 2.
I mean, still, if he can keep it under 20.4, he should be able to overtake the 3, his teammate. And these 2 cars looking absolutely dialed in.
This is going to be a phenomenal run for this team. Across the line, 46.59, not an improvement, but still would have had pole by over a 10th with that lap.
So far, these cars... Whoa!
Yeah, it was a big slide. Did he get the wall there? It looked close.
I think he was able to avoid it, but that car now he's starting to get a little bit uneasy here on this 3rd lap.
We'll see if it phased him. Right now, he's got the best time by 1.5 tenths of a second. That's gonna hurt a lot.
Yeah.
But now the good thing is that his first 2 laps were so much quicker. I think it'll average out to still have him be P1.
If he can at least end up in the top 9, I think it'll be job well done for the 2. It'll be mission accomplished. He comes across the line. Let's see how bad that first half of the lap hurt him.
Oh, that was that was really bad.
That puts him on about a 40.7, I want to say, between his first 2 laps.
Yeah, it's going to be closer than it should have been.
Yeah.
We'll see if he makes the same mistake out of turn 2. He does not this time.
His
He might be able to recover.
Groscher ran 40.8, pretty much on the dot average.
20.480, another decent lap. His time right now, a full mile an hour quicker over the course of a lap than Robert Groscher. 222.546 to a 221.683. And across the line for the last lap, we'll see what this does for the number 2. We'll see if it's good enough for P1. 40.902. I don't know if that's going to be good enough, and we'll see where it puts him.
For them to do the math here and put him on the charts, it'll be either 1st, 2nd, maybe even 3rd, but definitely going to be at the top of the board.
He pulls off.
Oh, yeah, it's...
P1?
Yeah.
All right, P1 for the number 2, Lucas LaVille. Timo Isanimi in the number 43. Another team car. And all these guys are picking up. And if you take a look at the conditions, Finian, we're 12 degrees cooler than we were about an hour ago. So this should be a pickup for Timo as well. Sector time at 20.362. This team is going to sweep the front row of this if they keep running like this. Across the line for lap number 1, a 40.733. Good enough for P2.
Again, defending pole sitter for this race back in 2017. Trying to take that crown back. Currently on pace to do so, at least get into that shootout.
Lucas LaVille, though, that time, a 40.608 as the fast lap, that's going to be tough to beat.
Definitely not the Vortex guys. Again, 1, 2, and 3.
Wow.
On the top of the board.
20.328.
And then even 4 of them in the top 6 if you include Hoffman.
He picks up even a little bit on the second half of this lap. That'll solidly put him P1. Coming to the start-finish line for the second lap. Timo Isanimi. A 40.674, just shy of Lucas LaVille's time. We'll see if he can pick up on lap 3.
We've seen these guys, I don't know what they've done with this setup, but it's been picking up
Yeah,
more and more time.
I mean,
it runs a really good first lap and then it gets faster.
If you compare this with most of the field, laps 1, 2, and 3 for most of the field were good. Lap 4 has been 3/4 tenths of a second off. These guys have not been seeing that kind of degradation on their tires. Cross the line, 23.71. This will not be quicker. Third of 4 laps. A lot of stability in these cars, though.
So a little bit slower in 1 and 2. Let's see if Ford can save this lap. Across the line, he'll go 40.7.
That's still a pretty solid lap. It should put him second overall. Well, you still got one more lap to go here. little tight out of 2. Had to pull it back down the racetrack. At the sector line for the 43, 20.393. Not bad.
Not bad at all. Looking at a 40.8, if you can get back there, maybe even improve, it might be a little bit quicker than that. And we'll see. Comes out of turn 4, looking pretty stable. Oh, almost hits the wall,
wow.
actually.
Little tight out of 4. Timo Isanimi in the number 43 Vortex car. Across the line, 40.779. Should be good enough to put him second overall. Jan Hoffman in the 05 returning to the racetrack. Had pole earlier.
Yeah.
And people have been running a lot faster because the track conditions have dropped so much.
Yeah, 113 now, so very cool conditions relative to what we started with. Hoffman now on the line just to join his teammates in the top 3 spots.
Sweeping the front row in an Indy 500 is phenomenal for any team.
He's currently sitting in 9th place. So,
so on the bubble.
Yeah, so he's trying to nail himself into that shootout. But the way his teammates have set times, he should be able to get himself further up the order. We'll have to see here. 20.3 for the first sector. That's
pretty good. This is going to be another sub 40.8 lap for sure. And we seem to have hit a wall earlier in the session with Caleb Weekly. And then once LaVille and Groscher and Isanini came back out on the racetrack, they just blitzed that time and went right to the top of the board. 40.614, just shy of LaVille's time. By just about 6,000ths of a second, the difference between those two. Now sweeping the front 4 spots. Sector time this time through for the 05 will be 29. Ooh, bailing on this, dropping out.
He's going to go for another attempt, feels he can do better.
I don't know. I mean, that turn 1, I think that's where he lost it all, but he had a really solid overall lap time. We'll have to jump out. Mike Gerlicka in the 31, returning to the racetrack, 19th at the moment. We'll see if he can pick up.
Isanini should be able to take the top spot from what I'm seeing. He should be up there in the Vortex guy is 1, 2, and 3 on the average times. Potentially even 4 too if Hoffman was able to get his lap time.
So again, it's all about the averages, the game of averages, Finney. And I think Lucas LaVille, those last couple laps weren't great compared to his best lap, but because his best lap was so much faster than everybody else's, he was able to keep that best spot. So Gerlicka's going to come on through and start his lap. And we'll see what he can run in the first sector. We've seen sub 20.4s. That's really what we're looking for in terms of getting that pole position for next week's Classic Indycar Series Indy 500. Down the back straightaway. We'll see what the sector time is for the 31 at the halfway point. 20.416 will be certainly a big pickup for the 31 in quickest time. His best time previously was a 41.144. This should be at least a 3 or 4 improvement.
Yeah, a lot of guys have been signing up for times. There's only 2 more slots available if you want to put another time down. So we're going to be up and actually have to see that. Now we're down to 1 slot. As who's
I think Johnny Garrett signed up. He jumped back on the track. Well, all right, anyway, for Gerlicka, 40.835. That was a big improvement. Jumps him to 7th quickest. So if he can keep running these times, he could get himself in the Fast 9, have a chance for the pole later. Wow, really good sector on lap number 2. Like in this 31 car. Again, I think a lot of people are realizing now that the temperatures dropped so much, there's so much more grip. Even the drivers at the tail of the field could see an improvement here, but they're not going to get a chance. Only 1 slot left to claim. 40.783 for the 31. Good enough for 5th.
31 starting to jump up in that order here. Really good time for him.
And just in the nick of time, if he gets these last 2 laps anywhere close to those times, he will be a Fast 9 contender. And he was 19th prior to the second attempt, so Gerlicka looking to really improve on what could have been an abysmal starting spot for next Sunday's race. A 24.66 for the sector. We'll see what lap number 3 has to offer for the 31 team. .890, that's still pretty good. Still going to average out to roughly a 40.8 something, 40.85, which should be just good enough to get him in. Ooh, real tight off of 2 there. You see that?
Yeah, he came flying off the wall to make sure he didn't get into the wall.
Yeah, 20.576. That's going to be a big loss of time on the last lap. We'll see if this is good enough for a Fast 9 spot as Johnny Garrett has fired up his number 68 for, I think, his 3rd attempt today.
Yeah, he's been out there for quite a few attempts, but, you know, can't blame him. If you can, might as well get some times down. And the 31 comes across the line, it's going to be a 41.76.
Yeah, it's going to... I don't know. We'll see where he ends up on the time charts here.
It's going to be close. It's going to be kind of up in the air at the moment.
Where does that put Garlicka overall? Should be good enough for a Fast 9 spot.
Getting it in now.
Johnny Garrett starting his effort. 3rd time today he's tried to lay down a fast lap. Currently 16th overall with a time of 41.011, 220 average miles an hour. Again, we're seeing the best times, 222 miles an hour average around this 2.5 mile racetrack. Lightning quick times for Johnny Garrett at 20.374, a large pickup there for him.
Series when he once comes across the line. Should be a very fast time if he keeps the pace up.
Yeah, I think he's going to. Across the line for Johnny Garrett, 16th. Where does he end up after this? 40.734. Good enough for 4th place. So 19th to 4th, a 15 position improvement for Johnny Garrett. Now, can he keep that consistency over the rest of the lap? On the left-hand side of the screen, there is your margins right now between the fastest laps. Lucas Leville, the Frenchman, 0.06 of a second above Jan Hoffman. Garrett a little slower that time, at 20.441 at the sector line. Out of turn 4 now, and we'll see if Garrett can keep the ball rolling here on lap number 2. 40.849, not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad, but starting to fall just a little bit.
I guess that's the concern.
Yeah, and Garlicka will be in the Fast 9, at least for now.
Is he on the bubble?
He is, I believe, in 6th. About 6th.
That's where he is on course in terms of the fast laps. That makes sense. Johnny Garrett, 3rd lap, 20.608. Sits 4th on the best lap chart, but the last 2 laps might drop him out of the Fast 9 here, Finian. So, and again, the Fast 9 is the 9 fastest drivers as determined by the average of their 4 laps that they run per attempt. That was slower. 0.3 off, 41.082. We'll see if he can pick up on his final lap, but I'm seeing a lot of drop-off in this car. I'm not really liking how this car is slowing over the course of the run.
And fall off yet again. This is going to be over 41.
Yeah, this could drop him out, because 41, any times sub 40.9 are really 15th and up. So this is going to drop his average down about probably 12th or 13th, I would imagine. 41.249, not a good 4th lap. We'll see where that cycles him out. Last driver to attempt 4 laps. And Randy has already made an attempt today, sits 16th on the timing and scoring, and starts his 2nd attempt.
They're going to go all the way up to on the Fast 9. Should start out with a lot of guys putting in the time. The last one to go out will be weekly.
The weekly, again, was our pole sitter for most of the qualifying session. His time before was a 40.784, a 221.586 miles an hour. Then 6 drivers all ran quicker, including 4 of the Vortex cars.
He's currently sitting 5th overall.
Oh, I'm liking this. The sector was a sub 20.4. This should be a decent time for the 4 car. 40.683, good enough for 4th place. The sector is on lap number 2. And And taking a look at our conditions as he comes on through for the second. Oh, that was really good. 20.325. Track temp is the coolest it's been all day, and I think that's what Caleb Weekly is trying to capitalize on, is the cooling temperatures. Almost a 15-degree drop from earlier in the day.
Yeah, so I'm really starting to see the temps drop, and they're only going to drop further and further.
This will be a really solid lap. Could it be quickest? 40.644. It'll jump him up one spot to third.
If he can keep it going, if he keeps his pace up, should be able to just get up there for the fastest one.
Yeah, again, he was 16th before this. This will solidly put him in the Fast 9 that will shoot off here in just over a half an hour. Again, we're going to go dark for about 25 minutes. We'll be back with you for the rest of the qualifying. The top 9 drivers will go and shoot for the last... Oh, look at that. That's the best sector time we've seen. A 23.15, Finney, and this could be a pole time right here.
County break at 40.6. That's the fastest of 40 points.
Oh, this is going to be really good. Across the line, does he perfect it? Is he going to sit on top? A 40.665? No, it slowed down. Lost a lot of time there in that last sector.
So had it going in the first sector, not so much the second one.
Right, we're waiting on the last driver. It's Matt Moeller again in the 29 who snagged up the final spot. As he gets rolling, as Randy goes for his last lap, another 20.3, but it's just so competitive at the front of the field right now. We've got 8 drivers within 0.2 of a second. We've got 5 within a tenth. Final corner for the number 4 car. Across the line, what's it going to be? This will solidly put him in the Fast 9 to compete for the pole later. 40.657. Still really solid, but won't be good enough for the fastest. Matt Moeller, this is, I believe, his 4th try today.
Yeah, he's been out there, I think, the most out of anyone here so far. This will be his final attempt. Everyone signed up till 4:30, so he's got no more attempts left. He has to make it count.
So are we qualifying solid until 4:30?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought we had a bit of a break, but I guess not.
Yeah, no, everyone. I think as soon
Everyone
as they started
wanted-
seeing,
yeah.
everyone was scrambling for times. A lot of guys got put in.
All right, so I guess there will be no break. We're going to stay live with you all the way until the Fast 9 qualifying effort. 27.88 across the line at the sector. That's not going to be an improvement. Well, it could be an improvement on his time, but it's not going to be anywhere near the Fast 9, I don't think. His best previously was a 41.594. Comes on through. And will improve a 41.564, but no positional improvement.
Yeah, Schumacher should also be up there. He got that provisional pole spot, and that's gonna be key. You know, again, while we say provisional pole again, the top 9 won't go for a shootout, but if you're at the top of that list, you'll be going last. That's gonna be very key to potentially keeping that spot.
We've had 27 cars lay down times. And final corner for Matt Moeller on this lap. .511. It was an improvement. And still, okay, there finally, after 4 attempts, he was able to jump up a couple spots. Only to 23rd, though. Got the driver, the number 56 with us. Hey, Tristan, it's good to talk to you. Can you tell me how to pronounce your last name? Because I think I butchered it really badly, and I'm trying not to.
It's Hauser.
Hauser,
actually.
okay, I was kind of close.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Hi.
Hey, what's up? So looking at the timing and scoring, you're sitting 16th on the fastest lap chart. And I don't know immediately where you are in terms of overall qualifying, but it seems like the track has picked up a lot of pace here. Is there any chance you're going to go back out for a second go?
No, I had my first and last chance, so that's why I took a safe set and I had 1 chance, 1 run. That's it.
So
that's why I'm sitting there a little bit behind my teammates.
Gotcha. So it looks like you're 14th on the average lap chart. When it comes to the conditions today, we talked to Josh Baird earlier, and he was telling us how the conditions were awful for qualifying today. When we first loaded in, it was 125 degrees. It's now 110. How much do you think you can gain when the track temp drops 15 degrees? Is it worth a tenth? Is it worth 2, 3? I mean, how much is there really to gain out there when the track temp drops?
I think you can gain up to, well, even 0.3, yeah, in average. But yeah, I haven't followed the whole qualifying. I just got home and had to jump in, did a few practice laps, and had to use a safe set. So yeah.
You're the defending race winner at this Classic IndyCar Series Indy 500, and I guess you're no better person to ask than is qualifying itself super important in a 500-mile IndyCar race? Because I would argue it's at least somewhat important, but you got a lot of time to get your way to the front.
Yes, and I think I did it. My victory, I came from far back. I think I was even in the one of the last rows. I personally think qualifying is not as important as the race set in Indianapolis. But yeah, I could be wrong this time. It depends how drafting and everything works out this year.
Well, as you're saying that, Joshua Chin beats the best lap time by a full 1/10 of a second of 40.446 in his number 93, a sector time in the 20.2 range, and he's going to do it again, quicker this time for Joshua Chin. 20.206 finish. He's flat flying right now. And I guess for you, Tristan, I mean, when we look at qualifying, I mean, how indicative is when you qualify really well? I mean, obviously you got a fast race car, but how different are the qualifying setups versus the race setups? And if Joshua's fast now, is he going to be fast in the race, or do you build a completely different setup?
What I did, I took my race draft set, so I started creating the race set and produced a qualifying set out of it. So this is maybe also because I'm a little bit slower. But mainly you work in qualifying in iRacing. You work mostly, especially in the IndyCars, you work with cross weight, and your right rear tire just burns up. And these qualifying sets, most of the fast guys, they won't survive a fifth or sixth lap. So basically, it's a different branch. Basically, if you speak about this, it's a different branch of setup you're trying to do. It may be the same source from the beginning, but it's you work in a different direction.
Obviously, we've been talking about qualifying all day, but I want to ask you about your race setup and your thoughts on the race next Sunday. Do you typically build your setups to have a lot of oversteer, a lot of turn in, or do you prefer to have a more stable setup just to keep yourself stable over the course of the long run?
Well, basically, as always, you start very stable in the beginning. Also now with dynamic weather and dynamic winds and everything, you need to have a lot of downforce. Everyone will start with a lot of downforce and then gets turn down the wings more and more during the course of the race. That's also where I will have a lot of space for myself to play with the wings during the race. Because if you're like locked up with maximum wing, for example at the rear, you don't have anything to play. So you should be in the middle of the wings so you can play a lot with the balance.
We just saw Joshua Chin go quickest, Vinny, and 3 of his 4 laps were over a 10th quicker than second place Lucas Laville at number 2. How about that set of laps there by the 93, excuse me.
Yeah, no, did a really good job. His average lap time is a 10th and a half faster than the next guy. Really significant.
Wow.
Gap. And Bennett,
as we say that, that was quickest, 40.358. That is a flat flying lap right there. But Tristan, we want to thank you for jumping in here real quick, and good luck next Sunday, and we'll see how the rest of qualifying sorts out, but I appreciate you coming up here and talking.
Yeah. Talk to you soon.
All right, we'll see you later.
Have fun.
Thanks. So Henry Bennett flying right now in his 001 car.
Yeah, and he's trying to beat currently Michael Cook sitting on the border, and we saw Cook put a time in earlier before we went live, so didn't really get to see him put a time down. He's he was actually crowned the champion last week before going into this
quicker
round.
Still, a 40.340. He is going so fast, almost a half a tenth better, actually more than a half a tenth better than Joshua Chin. And we're not only, the track conditions have stayed relatively constant the last 15 or 20 minutes, and we're just seeing drivers just pick up time now.
Yeah, really, a lot of the heavy hitters in the series coming out now and putting some times down. Joshua Chin second in the points. Won't be able to get first again because Cook claimed the championship last week at Laguna Seca, or the last round at Laguna Seca. So he's out here just trying to win this event.
Out of turn 4 for Henry Bennett. He's laid 2 laps that were easily pole. Can he improve again on lap number 3? Not quite. It would still be good enough for second. This will almost certainly be your provisional pole winner heading into the Fast 9. And we've seen Henry Bennett be incredibly successful in any kind of open wheel car. He's also an Indy Elite competitor on Sunday nights with them, and has been running extremely well. Is actually in the top pair in the points at the moment. And now seeing sector times in the 20.2s. I'm confident you're going to have to be 223 miles an hour to be pole this afternoon.
Oh, let's see. Bennett comes across the line again. Puts down a 40
5.43. A little bit of a drop off there, but it's a drop off meaning it still would have been good enough for third if that was the only lap he ran. So Henry Bennett, quickest.
Yeah, that should be more than enough to at least get somewhere inside the top 9, at least probably in the top 3 positions.
Schoolmeister coming across the line. He'll start another attempt. I believe this is his 3rd attempt.
And that puts Bennett at the top of the charts by a 10th.
Okay, 224 miles an hour Henry Bennett just eclipsed.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're not kidding. They're not playing around out there.
So Bennett's up there by a 10th over Chin, and Chin's a 10th and a half over the next guy. So the gap's getting very big at the top.
There's a pretty big margin between the top 5 and really everybody else. There's, between first and last right now, we have a 2-second gap. But Schoolmeister at 23.91. This isn't going to be good enough to beat Bennett. But it's going to be good enough to put him better than he is. Across the line, what's it going to be for him? A 40.719, which was a 0.2 of a second improvement. Jumps him up into 7th.
Yeah, this is going to be really tasty, too. I'm looking at the order of the guys we got coming up. A lot of the guys were in the top 9 by quite a bit, and then these last few runs that we've seen have been kicking people out. They're the guys trying to get back in, so it's going to be a lot of sudden death to get inside that top 9 at the end here. So the guys are going to be putting all in. We're looking at Schoolmeister here. If he can keep up the pace.
Schoolmeister. The heat miser. All right, let's see what Schoolmeister can do on the next lap here. It's at 7th quick right now. Will it be an improvement this time? It will be. 40.614. Going to be good enough for 4th. And he ties with Jan Hoffman in the 0.5.
Yeah, that's impressive here.
Actually, I think that's a rounding error because it's showing him 0.274 behind the leader, Henry Bennett. No. And Jan Hoffman is 0.275. So it's some rounding error somewhere. But they are scored currently with the exact same time. Schoolmeister coming on through for another lap here. We'll see if he can improve yet again. This will be a Fast 9 time if he can keep doing what he's doing.
Off turn 4 for lap 2.
It was lap 3.
Lap 3, yep.
And 40.624. Not bad. Only lost about a 100th of a second.
Here's going to be lap 4. So a lot of guys struggle with it, and as they say that, tight off of turn 1.
Yeah, real tight. Almost got it into the fence. Didn't lift, though. He stayed in it, so it really shouldn't have lost him a whole lot of time.
20.383. Yeah, so still looking fairly good. Might be a little bit slower this time through, but again, it's fairly solid run overall.
It's going to be about a 40.75, if I had to take a guess. Drivers have been picking up on the second half of the lap.
Let's see here. Across the line, is your guess correct?
Quicker. 40.671. Not quicker than his best lap, but quicker than I thought it was going to be. And that'll solidly put him in the Fast 9 as Zachary Zwar tries to pick up from his qualifying effort earlier. This was not a good run for the 0.25 earlier. Is a full 2 seconds off the pole time right now. So hopefully he's got something figured out because it was a big struggle earlier.
Schoolmeister is now 3rd on the Fast 9 chart.
Whoa! You big bobble out of turn 1.
I was hoping it would fix the grip level in this car, and it's gotten worse, it seems.
Yeah, he's still sliding. He's got absolutely no downforce in this car, and it's really hurting him here.
Yeah, if anything, you should have put more. In my humble opinion, I'm very horrible at
he's going 225 at the end of the straight. He's got top speed to spare, but that first sector, it's still going to put him in the 42s.
I think that's why he's getting so much top speed, that I think he's running very, at least rear wing. The front seems to be gripping, not the rear.
Comes across the line. This is not going to be much of an improvement, and it will actually be a half a second slower than his best time. This is just He's missed this setup entirely and it's really struggling. So,
Whoa!
Oh, wow, he saved it though. That was an entertaining slide at the very least.
Not done yet. And the first car we've seen get this loose. So a lot of the guys have understeered into the wall. We haven't seen anyone spin out yet.
Gotta go back and look at that a little bit later.
Yeah. It was a great save. He's still got 2 more laps to put down, though.
We'll look at it as he comes through the sector, 22-second sector. Let's go back and take a quick gander at the slide. He took out I think it was turn number 2 here. Or was it turn 1? I think it was turn 1.
Turn 1, yeah.
Back a couple more seconds here and pick
up. Oh, I
up.
think he spun out or pulled off on the pit road.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that in a second. But here is the slide.
Wow. Yeah, that's not something you want to do.
Yep, so he's back into the pit stall. Let's see exactly why. I think that might have actually been a collision. Yes, it was. Our first accident of the day.
Oh.
Big impact out of turn 4. Our first crash of the qualifying session. Thankfully not as spectacular as IndyCar qualifying crashes can usually be. Yeah. But there's a lot of struggle in this 025 team. They got to get this sorted out for next week because he's going to have a bad time. Next car on track, Jan Hoffman. Already, well, he's actually just getting geared up for his lap here.
Currently on the outside, one of those drivers on the outside looking in. He's definitely got the pace, though, to put himself up there. Remember, he started an attempt earlier, went really quick, only to give up after lap number 2, made a mistake, and decided to make another attempt. So here he comes. This is going to be his final attempt to get himself back inside that top 9.
Across the line for the sector, what's it going to be for Hoffman? 20.367, not bad. Should have put him in the 40.6 range. Unfortunately, that's where he already is. And again, if you run a second attempt, that next attempt is your time. So if he doesn't pick up, he actually might lose some spots here.
So there's 3 more drivers after this that we got lined up, ready to make a run. That's going to be Cook, Michael, and Weekly.
46.62.
So if you can at least qualify in 6th in the average lap time, that should guarantee him a spot in the Fast 9. That's what he should be aiming for.
That's about what he's sitting at right now. He's sitting actually P7 actually, with that first lap average all by itself, 20.471. This will be slower though. A little bit concerned about that. And again, 6 will guarantee him a spot.
Yeah, that'll guarantee.
Doesn't necessarily mean he's not going to make it.
But I mean, again, the next 3 guys are some of the fastest guys in qualifying, or have been. I expect to potentially overtake him. So here, across the line.
40.765, that will be good enough for basically a 9th place time.
Gonna have to find something here. Whoa, a little bit loose out of turn 1.
Bit of a struggle. Got it collected though. We'll see if he stayed in the throttle enough to maintain the speed. Sector time, 20.390, bit of a pickup from last lap. Again, Hoffman in the 05. Another Vortex Sim Racing car. A lot of his teammates are up at the top of the board. He's awful close there, but no cigar. Again, a German driver here as he comes across for lap number 3. 40.674. Actually, that might have been... Was that lap 3 or was that lap 4?
I think that was lap 3.
All right, so 40.674 on his 3rd lap. Let's see... We got 2 drivers rolling right now. I don't think there's supposed to be that, so I think Nate Michael has to sit back and relax and wait for Matt Cook to make his effort. Again, Matt Cook was up at the top of the board for about the first half of qualifying, but now that time is 0.5 of a second away from pole. That's how much this track has changed. Finney, we're down almost 20 degrees temperature-wise from earlier. 18 to be exact.
Across the line for Hoffman, 40.73. And that'll guarantee him a spot.
So Jan Hoffman will be in the Fast 9. And all the Vortex cars, I believe, are in the Fast 9.
Actually,
except for...
They are.
They are.
4 of them are, but Grosjean is 8th. So he's on the bubble, and he doesn't have another attempt left. So he's kind of hoping that these guys don't go faster. We got Matt Cook again. 2019 champion, already crushed it before coming in.
This car is going to get in. It's just a matter of how quickly and where does he end up on the board.
Yeah, he had a lot of accolades. We got sent an email earlier, and half of the things listed had Matt Cook in it.
Wow, 20.229. Yeah. This will be good enough for a 40.4.
And that's why.
But that's not provisional pole, but it will be good enough to get him in the Fast 9 if he averages that.
Scored 6 pole positions are in the first 13 rounds of this season. So
okay, so
fast driver. Very fast driver.
Yep. And across the line, 40.431. That's going to be good enough for third on the charts.
Really
It's
dialed in.
Just beautifully dialed in. The exit of turn 1 now, or turn 2 rather, right up against that wall. The back straight to prioritize that arc into 3. Sector across the line, 20.232. Another solid sector time. Very consistent. What will it be?
Out of turn 4.
And Matt Cook improve on a 40.431 across the line. No, 40.435.
Wow, that is stupidly consistent.
4 thousandths of a second between his last and his best.
That's amazing.
Onto the back straightaway for lap number 3.
Yeah, so with that, he would be second. Currently the way it's going to be averaged down. He's going to have to improve. He wants to get that top spot from Bennett.
Yeah, but I will say, though, these sector times, they've been remarkably consistent. Remember, this format rewards consistency. Bennett even fell off at the end of his last run, so even though it fell off from a really good time, I don't know if it'll be good enough. It was actually his best at 40.409.
Might get him. Here we go, last lap.
Matt Cook in the 6th, last of his 4 laps here. In his second attempt of the day. Track temp has fallen over 15 degrees from earlier.
So Bennett sitting at a 40.41. Current average for Cook is a 40.42.
Wow!
It is stupidly close. So we'll see here if Matt Cook can get anything out of this last sector and this last lap in general.
Cross the line, here we go. Can he beat Bennett? If it's sub a 40.41? No. Yes, it is. 40.430, 429 actually corrected as he came across the line. That should be good enough to put him P1. We'll see as the data gets input.
Waiting on it. I'm waiting for them to put it into the drive here.
As Nate Michael gets rolling, but Matt Cook should be the pole sitter here. As Nate Michael gets rolling here.
No.
No, it isn't. By how much? Oh, I was reading the wrong. Never mind. I was wrong the whole time. A little slower. So Matt Cook will be second to Henry Bennett in the 001. Nate Michael of 20.226, a really solid sector time.
He got kicked out, I believe. Yeah, he was on the outside looking in, but yeah, here he comes now yet again to put down a time.
That should be a 40.4 something as well. This will jump him solidly up inside the top 5, and it will. 40.382, good enough for second.
Not really, I was going to say not bad about it. Really good lap time. Wow, almost hit the camera. I got so close to the wall.
But the problem is the camera's on the wall. You don't really want to be hitting the camera. But on the back straightaway now, pulls away from the fence. What's it going to be here? A 20.360, a little off this time. I think he struggled through turn 2.
He's trying to beat a 40.8 average for Grosier, which I think he should be more than able to do here.
Cross the line for lap number 2, 40.572, 2/10 off.
40 also beating a 40.79 will guarantee him a spot if he can get into 8th place.
Down 107 degrees track temp. Wow, look at that sector. Best sector so far at 20.172.
Wow.
That's a really good first half of the lap.
Yeah, I was looking at a 40.2 or sub 40.3.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what mile per hour average that's going to be as he crosses the line. What's it going to be? Will this be P1 for the 15? A 40.377 lost a ton of time. It was a pickup, but not quite enough to beat Henry Bennett. Gave it all up in the second half of the lap.
Yeah, almost has it. Let's see if he still got some speed left in this car here. Might be able to do it again.
Henry Bennett's still the only driver to be over 224 miles an hour average over the course of one lap. And Michael across the line at 20.211, another strong sector, but he's been losing some time in the second half of the lap.
fact, this is looking pretty good.
This will be really solid. What will it be? 40.404, bit of a drop-off.
He's been losing a lot more time in the second sector, and that'll complete his run.
Yep, Caleb Weekly back out. I said earlier this is going to be the car to beat, and I think that's still true. But Nate Michael was really consistent. I'd be surprised if that wasn't at least good enough to get close to beating Henry Bennett. As we wait for the info. Third quick for Nate Michael.
Grocer out.
So yeah, so will he sign? Are we still slots open before 4:30? There's only 8 minutes left, so this is it.
Last driver scheduled.
Caleb Weekly is the last driver. Is that accurate?
Should be.
All right.
So my data says,
So who's on the bubble right now as Weekly goes through?
Currently LaVille.
Really?
Yeah. At a 40.79. So
Wow, I can't believe that. I think that last lap really dropped him.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it'll be a shoe-in for Weekly here, and here comes 40 point.
Ooh, that wasn't. I don't know.
Gotta pick it up.
Yeah, a pickup. 3 spots for the 10 car, but not going to be good enough to get him in the Fast 9.
Can keep this pace going. If he drops off, we'll see. He'll end up not missing it. However, you can keep this pace up. He should be able to join, but no. See, I thought he would be a lot faster earlier. I think by that if the track cools down, he'd be a lot faster, but not looking like that so far for the 10. Here comes for the second lap. Will this be quicker?
It's gonna be no, not quicker.
Well, he's still on track to getting in the Fast 9,
Really?
but he's got to really make sure he stays below a 40.7
Yeah, so
or 40.8 actually. You can stay down.
it's all about these last 2 laps for Caleb Weekly. Sat on pole earlier. I thought this was gonna be the driver to beat, but it doesn't really look like he's got the pace of the front couple.
Lucas LaVille just waiting in the wings, just hoping that Weekly doesn't go faster and is a little bit slower in these next 2 laps.
I don't know about that lap. This is a 20.4 at the sector marker.
Nail biter for both drivers, and here he comes across the line.
40.737.
Still good.
Wow. Last lap for the 10 car here.
He's got to make sure he doesn't make a mistake here.
Through turns 1 and 2. A little bit of a loosey-goosey moment there at the exit of 2, down the long back straight. It's going to come down to the final sector here, a 20.362. This should still be on track to knock that Lucas LaVille car out. And I'm just shocked because on the speed charts, LaVille's 5th.
Yeah, with the fastest time.
But again, it's all about averages.
Slow and steady. I guess slightly slower.
Yeah, a little bit slower, a little bit steadier. Cross the line for Caleb Weekly. Will he be a Fast 9 contender? A 40.677. That should put him in and move Lucas LaVille out.
How unfortunate for the 2 of Lucas LaVille. Really fast time up with his teammates, but I think, again, just running that time earlier in the session is really what killed some of these guys, like Grosjean as well. So
taking a look at your lap times, your best lap times of the session. Again, this is not your qualifying order, but Henry Bennett in the 001
and
has the provisional pole for the moment.
Yeah, and I'll mention these. So these are the 9 drivers moving on to the Fast 9 shootout. It'll be Bennett, Cook, Michael, Chin, Schoolmeister, Schumacher, Weekly, Hoffman, Isanami, and that's it.
All right, so Fast 9 coming up here in just about 5 minutes. So we'll take a quick breather here just to talk about what we just saw here, because I think what we've seen today is that the cars are extremely weather dependent. We saw about a 20-degree drop in temperature. I also don't know if we really know which driver is the best yet, because the temperatures have ranged so wildly. I mean, some of these drivers in the top 9 made qualifying efforts recently. Some of them have not. So I think the Fast 9 are going to be a really intriguing group to watch. We're going to jump to break for about 5 minutes just to grab a drink of water. We'll be back in 5 minutes at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Fast 9 qualifying. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Classic Indycar Series Indy 500 qualifying. It's time for the Fast 9 to go out, and Timo Isanini in the number 43 is rolling and going. This broadcast has been brought to you by Nucentric Solutions. Nucentric Solutions is proud to sponsor the Oval Triple Crown race at Indy. They offer managed IT services to small and medium-sized businesses in the Southeast United States. For more information to see if Nucentric can provide your company IT solutions, visit them at www.nucentric.com. All right, Finian, time to go. Here we are.
Here we go indeed for the shootout, and remember, all these 9 drivers are locked into the top 9 regardless of what happens to them on this run, so this is all for the marbles here. This is all just going for pole.
You might as well throw everything you've got out on the line to get pole at Indianapolis. There's nothing like starting on the front 3 rows as Timo Isanini comes on through a 20.266, a nice lap time improvement for the 43. One of the drivers that didn't qualify right at the end of the last session, and if we've taken a look at the track conditions, Finian, the coolest it's been 19 degrees cooler than the start of the event, which should mean that Timo Isanini should jump way up the board here in the lap times.
And here comes Crossline for his first lap, 40.534.
I'm up to P5, the 4-spot improvement.
He'll really be the one to set the baseline here. I imagine, though, that everyone else behind him will probably be a little bit faster.
Well, again, we're starting from 9th and moving our way forward, so we should, in theory, see the drivers pick up speed as we go. 20.249, and again, a remarkably consistent second lap. We've seen a lot of drop-off on lap number 3 and 4. Coming on through for lap number 3, what's it going to be? 40.503, bit of a pickup. Won't gain any spots, but will gain average lap time.
Putting him at 40.51 for his average time so far. The looks of it, again, we know that this car, the way it's set up, it picks up speed over the run, so might be able to drop it even further down to a 40.4 if he can keep the momentum going this lap.
His sector last time by was a 20.295, just a touch slower than the first 2 laps, and his lap 3 time will be probably around a 40.55. 5-1.
It's a little bit of drop off from that.
Whoa! No!
Whoa.
Fence there for Timo. Out of turn 1.
Might have clipped it, might have not clipped it.
It was really close. Oh, no! Big impact to the fence on the exit of turn 2 and crash for the 43. And that's what you got to do it, Finian. You're going for all marbles, as you said. And for Timo, a big mistake at the exit of turn number 2.
It looks like he actually didn't clip the wall in turn 1, so it's good. But here,
it's already sideways and just try to steer it off the wall, and big impact there. Right on board. Chased it up the hill, steered off the wall, and
it's got loose.
Big, pounded that safer barrier on the inside.
We're starting to see, we saw it happen with, I think, Joar. Earlier, it was one of the first guys to wreck from loose conditions, and now we saw that also happen to Isanini.
Yeah, again, that was only the second car to have significant wall contact today.
That's unfortunate, too, because he won't be able to defend his pole position from last year, so he'll be starting from 9th at the moment. We see Hoffman, too, get very close to the wall. Yeah,
these drivers are trying to get everything they can, and Hoffman sits 8th right now on the fast lap chart, and it's not going to be good enough for pole at the very least. 20.460 at the sector marker.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, too, the only other Vortex car other than Isanimi to be inside the top 9, so he's kind of carrying the banner for Vortex at the moment.
And at one point, they swept the front 4 spots, so they've lost a lot of ground lately. Crossed the line at 40.659, no improvement.
That's going to be a fairly slow time compared to what these guys were running earlier. He's going to have to pick up the pace here. Almost hits the wall, though. Yeah, again, he seems like he's struggling at the exit of turns 1 and turn 2. And a bit tight out of turn 2 again. This is just kind of showing you how the track changes. The setup was looking a lot better in slightly hotter conditions.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that a lot of these drivers, the Vortex cars in particular, they really were better in the hot conditions, at least compared to everybody else. So when you take a look at your setup, you're really studying the weather forecast for next week because you want to know exactly what's going on to set your car up for the best way possible. Across the line, this time through a 40.895. This is not going the right direction for Hoffman.
It's really nice. Starting to fall off quite a bit. Ooh, clips a lid of the concrete.
Oh,
and
with
into
the fence.
Wall. And time going to be invalidated for the 0.5.
Yeah, And again, that
and both Vortex cars are going to be starting, I believe, 8th and 9th.
Yeah, that was, you know, you're pushing every last bit. Here's a look from up above. Get down, and he actually, he clipped the curb. That's what sent him up the racetrack and just got in the fence. Right there, just got it just a little bit and slid up and just snagged the fence. Next car out, Caleb Weekly in the number 10. And he was actually scored 10th overall, but he's been more consistent than everybody else leading up to this point.
See where he is going to end up in this order. See him got to swerve in a bit, maybe warming his tires, trying to get this run going.
It's all about the average lap. Again, take a look. He's 10th overall on the best lap chart, but just a little bit faster average. Didn't drop off quite as much as anybody else, but as he starts his Fast 9 qualifying effort, we'll see where he stacks up. And I was a little bit disappointed with that second run he made. I thought he would have easily jumped to the top of the board, but might be like the Vortex cars and be better in the warmer conditions.
Well, let's see if he can adapt to these conditions. If he figured out something maybe between then and now to change something to his qualifying setup. 20.331.
Yeah,
not too bad.
Well, it actually would be almost be exactly what he ran previously. So, might not be a huge improvement, but at least they'll be consistent. That's been the word of the day for Caleb Weekly.
And really, I think the big thing is going to be, can he improve from this time in the next 3 laps? And as it comes across the line, it's going to be a 40.574.
10th improvement. Yep. Jump up to P6 on the overall speed charts. And that will put him at 222.734 miles an hour. Sector time on the second lap. We'll see if this is even better. 20.273. That's a lot better.
Yeah, it is a lot better. Looking at potentially sub 40.5. Been picking up a lot of time in that second sector. See if he can improve yet again. Here comes Alpha. You see him, he's gaining quite a bit of distance.
He's
off
actually
the wall
steering. He's really over-steering the exit of the corner, I think, but it's working out. 40.506. That'll be not another jump up in position, but certainly will help the average time.
I'm going to bring that average time down even lower. You see him out of turn 1. Like, he's definitely not struggling with understeer off the corners. And yeah, he's maintaining quite a bit of distance to the wall.
Yeah, really. I guess when you think about these cars, they're going at max velocity around this track, and you know, you think of a track like Daytona. When you qualify at Daytona on your fast lap, you don't get up against the wall. You stay right against that yellow line. And if your car has the ability to make that turn, why don't you? You're going to save you're going shorter distance. It will be faster to do that. You just have to not scrub off speed. But if your car won't scrub off speed, you'll be able to run a 40.556 like Weekly just did, and he's a lot more consistent than a lot of the drivers around him.
Yeah, this is what we were kind of expecting out of his run last time by, but again, this is where it counts, so he'll really be able to set, I guess, the first baseline for him after Isanami and also Hoffman couldn't put a time down.
Track temperatures officially hit 20-degree low for today. 105 versus 125 when we first came in. Another great sector time here. Out of turn 4. And we'll see if Weekly can improve again or get close to it. Another 40.5. What will it be? A 40.661 that lap. That will be the end of his qualifying effort. So 6th quick on the fast lap chart. We'll see where it puts him on the fast 9.
Yeah, puts him at a 40.57. So that's essentially the time to beat at the moment.
Randy made a couple attempts earlier today. It was 9th quick overall previously. And starts his qualifying lap here.
I'll also take a guess. I believe he's teammates with Cook.
I can tell you that. 4 car. Arrow X. Arrow X. You are correct about that. So I got the same logo on the... Ooh, that is a really good time. A 20.207. That puts him on track for a 40.4. That would be 4th quick overall.
See him right up to the wall there, using every inch of space. Here he comes across the line. What's it going to be?
40.323. Good enough for pole right now. Wow.
Fastest time of the day so far set in the Fast 9 shootout. I'll easily take that away from
Henry Bennett was the previous best lap holder.
He'll definitely take it away. If he can keep the pace, he'll definitely take it away from Weekly.
Across the line. Wow, that's one of the fastest sectors we've seen. 20.183, picking up on lap number 2.
They're really looking fast now.
I'm really curious to see what happens when Bennett and Michael get back out here, and Joshua Chin as well. Across the line for lap number 2. What's it going to be? Will it improve this time for the number 4? And it will not be by about 400ths of a second, at 40.362, but will still be averaging better than everyone else.
Still very consistently fast for the 4 car. We'll see if he can keep this going here for the next lap. Down the straightaway he will go. Saw him break this. Oh, and yeah.
Little bit of a drop off, but still in the 40.4 range. That's really what he's shooting for right now, to hold on to the P1 overall. Across the line for Randy, one more lap to go. What will this time be? 40.366, wow. Still flying right now.
4,000 slower than the last lap.
Super consistent, super consistent. But it is dropping off, but it's not by a huge margin. On the back straight, this is his final lap effort.
And here comes for the 4th lap. Big struggle for a lot of drivers.
Still all right. That was only 1,000th off from his lap 3 sector.
Out of turn 4, looks like he's going to have no problems. Where is he going to come across the line? He's definitely going to beat Weekly.
Yeah, this will be the provisional pole time. A 40.402 should still be good enough to hang on to that as they come on through.
All right, so 4 drivers putting their times down. Schoolmeister will be...
Meester.
Damn it! I was trying to make sure to not mess it up.
Schoolmeister.
Schoolmeister will be the halfway point of this.
That sounds like a fairy tale character. The Schoolmeister. All right, rolling through turns 3 and 4 for Schoolmeister in the 08 car. Again, iconic motorsports car, driver from California.
So, trying to beat now 40.36. The average to beat.
So you got to be down in the 20.15, 20.25 range on the sector to be close to this. Down a long back straight again, pulling away from the wall, and I'm curious to see, I haven't really been paying attention enough to know if that's really helping or hurting anybody, but a 20.213, not quite good enough for pole, but it's pretty quick.
Yeah, he was a little bit high in turn 3 as well. About a half a lane off of where I would think most of these guys want to be. He went down lower in turn 4.
Ooh, a little tight out of 4 as well.
So it's not looking the best for him.
It will be an improvement, though, at the very least. 40.457, good enough to put him 6th on the lap chart.
And they'll put him between Weekly and...
You can hear that car ramping up like a jet engine down the back straightaway. Across the line, 20.256, still consistent, but I don't know if it's going to be good enough for... Well, it won't be good enough for pole. Through 3 and 4 for lap number 2. $40.454. 3,000ths off.
Some of you guys have been amazing in the consistency department because they've been setting times within 1,000ths of a second with each other. And that's extremely hard to do.
Well, you got a lot of practice, and the setups are built for the drivers. Ooh, that was a little tight out of 2, but they're built for the drivers, by the drivers. So they're really... What, is that like some... What are you laughing at?
You know, for the people.
Oh, here we go. That was his best sector time, 20.219. That's a bit more what he's got to be hitting.
Too little too late, though.
Yeah, I think it will be.
First 2, ooh, a little bit tight out of 4 as well again.
We've just been seeing the faster guys be a little bit tighter out of 4 than, or be a little bit closer to the bottom of the racetrack, but that was a pickup of 40.416. Won't gain him any spots, but it will help the average just a little bit.
I don't think he's going to have to set an extremely blistering time to beat up now, but should be comfortably within 2nd place.
227, 228, 228 miles an hour, the terminal velocity there. He came on through with 20.236 sector. Out of turn 4 and across the line, what will this be for Schoolmeister?
Line
40.443. Not too shabby. Right on mark with where he's got to be.
So it's definitely going to be second place for the 08. Now here comes Josh Chin. And
Excited about this one.
Yeah, I'm just excited for the next 4 drivers. Chin, Michael, Cook, and Bennett. I think all 4 of those drivers have a shot at pole here.
Joshua Chin was the first driver over 223 miles an hour earlier, I believe. And as he comes on through for lap number 1 of the Fast 9 run for the 93, what will this be? A 20.164, right on mark for a mid 40.3, which is where the fast drivers have been.
Yeah, so 40.36 time to beat for a pole as it stands, and now at turn 4, can Joshua Chin beat that? Him coming straight up to the wall.
And across the line for lap number 1, it will be a 40.253. Yep, best lap of the day goes Joshua Chin.
By a tenth of a second. So really picking up the pace now in the later parts of qualifying.
And we should be nearing 225 miles an hour, and yes, we are. 224.510 for Joshua Chin with that 40.253. Sector time, second time around, 20.128. Another improvement. We're getting close to breaking 20 seconds in a sector. That would be phenomenal.
I'm really curious. I don't think we will. We might get very close to it. I think we might see 40.1s.
It's going to take one gargantuan lap.
Yeah.
Chin will probably improve this time through, and he will. A 40.217.
So picking up every single time that he goes through. Can he keep this momentum going? Because again, you can get the pole for now, but it's a matter of will the next 3 guys be in. So he's still got to put it all on the line, and they're gonna have slightly cooler conditions.
Wow.
But here he goes again faster.
20.111, fastest sector of the day for Joshua Chin.
We might see him break 40.2 here.
Will we see a sub 40.2? A little tight out of 4 across the line. This is his 3rd lap. He'll start his last one right here. The time, a 40.251, a little slower through 3 and 4.
So definitely has pole unless he makes a massive mistake on this lap. But every single time has been below a 40.3.
I'm just excited to see what kind of lap times we get. Ooh, a bit of a bobble out of 2 for the 93 that time. At the sector, 20.177, about 0.06 off of his previous lap. Been a great qualifying effort for Joshua Chin. If this isn't pole, it was at least a valiant effort.
Here he comes across the line. Should be good. Enough for it. To the inside wall he will go. 40.3, and that should be more than enough.
224.713 miles an hour was the quickest lap he ran, and it will easily be provisional pole right now.
Yeah, so our time to beat, average time to beat, is a 40.25.
That's going to be tough to beat today. Here comes Nate Michael in the 15 car across the line to start his lap. And Nate Michael, I was looking for him earlier on the sheet, and I actually couldn't find him. So I didn't have any information. I looked for a while earlier and couldn't. I think it might have been a late entry.
Well, definitely making his name known now.
Yeah, I guess so. People will know you if you're fast across the line. 20.134, right on pace. Yeah. Right on pace.
Almost at Chin's fastest time, and Chin only ran that time in his 3rd lap out. This is Michael's 1st lap.
This is shooting for a. Right now, this would be about a 40.268. Across the line for lap number 1. What will it be? His best time prior was a 40.377. Will easily eclipse that, a 40.241.
Yeah, however, actually, no, that is just a bullet. Oh!
Yeah, that was a bit sketchy out of turn 1 for him.
Yeah, so he's on pace to beat Chin now. He's got to keep it going, though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be really tough. Having a drop-off less than 0.09 of a second is almost impossible, but a 20.160, still flirting with it. We've seen the second half of the racetrack be quicker than the first half. Out of turn 4 for Nate Michael in the 15 car. Second on the speed charts. Where will he average out? This is his 2nd lap. It will be a 40.313. That'll drop him down below Joshua Chin.
Yeah, 40.27 is his average at the moment. It's getting really close down to the wire. He's got to pick up the pace here.
Onto the back straightaway. Got to optimize that run. But these cars hit terminal velocity well before turn 3. The drag equalizes out. So maybe if the drivers felt comfortable, maybe
really
they... Yeah, that was a big mistake out of 2. I thought maybe drivers would pull out some downforce, hoping to get a little bit more slippery for this last run, just get a little extra straightaway speed. But for Nate Michael, this is going to drop him not only out of contention for the pole, but he's also going to drop down pretty far down the order, I would think. Across the line, 40.551.
Yeah, I think waiting for the average to update, but yeah, I think that's going to be it for him for a pole at least. Yeah, 40.36 is actually slightly slower than Schumacher, so sitting at 3rd place now.
Wow, 20.112. That was only 1,000th off of Joshua Chin's best sector time.
Yeah, might still have something for second. I don't think he'll have enough. Coming just out of turn 4 near the wall, using every inch of track, and
Here
across
we
the
go.
line.
It's going to be a 40.190.
Wow.
Quickest lap of the day for Nate Michael.
I love that.
That might be enough. I don't know if it's be enough to save him, but
No, I don't think it is. No, 40.32. That will be second place. So won't get full, but
that was a
fastest lap of the
great
day
lap.
for Michael. Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
224.864 miles an hour. Matt Cook in the 6 car. This guy is a weapon. He's going to be fast.
Yeah, it's now down to Cook and Bennett. Can they overthrow Joshua Chin? And I think, again, series champion for 2019, Matt Cook, looking to overthrow Chin. He's beat him in the points, but trying to beat him in qualifying, at least for the race.
20.130, right on pace. His best lap time prior to the Fast 9 was a 40.409. This will certainly be an improvement. 40.193, just 3 thousandths shy of Nate Michael's best.
More than on track to beat Chin. And again, can he keep the pace? We think he can.
Lap number 2 for the 6.
I'm curious on how this next lap is going to be, if that was how fast his first lap was.
Across the sector line, 20.087.
Wow, there we go.
Quickest sector of the day. And Matt Cook is on track to beat pole, not by a little, but by a lot. This lap is going to be mega out of turn 4, coming to lap number 3. What's this going to be? It's going to be a 40.141. P1.
Fastest lap for Matt Cook. And is currently sitting in pole by a comfortable margin.
And is that going to be enough to put us over the 225 mile an hour mark? It is 225.135 miles an hour average for Matt Cook.
And again, you have to think too, this is these cars without any draft help too, to go 225 miles an hour by themselves.
20.062, even quicker on the sector.
He's
He's ripping this track apart right now.
He's trying to outdo himself. Here he comes out of turn 4 again.
Across the line. What will it be for the 6? 40.127, improves again.
Still has one more lap to go.
Phenomenal driving by Matt Cook, phenomenal setup. He's got this thing figured out. Final lap, can he hang on to this average?
Tail sector, as he improved the sector again.
20.135, a little bit off. But either way, even his off sector puts him on par to take pole away and hang on to it. Out of the final corner for Matt Cook, 3 solid laps is the 4th. Any better? 40.225, easily on pole is the 6 of Matt Cook.
Didn't beat his own lap time, but will definitely take pole by a massive margin. He's now trying to beat is a 40.17. Here we go. Final run of the day. It's Henry Bennett. His only attempt to try to take pole here. Here he goes. First of 4 laps.
Matt Cook is on provisional pole. Can Henry Bennett deny him a front starting spot for the Classic Indycar Series Indy 500 next week on RaceSpot TV on the iRacing Esports Network? Coming through turns 1 and 2. You're going to have to be in the 20.0s in the sector.
He's going to have to put down some massive laps here because it's a very tough margin to beat. Here he comes.
20.067.
Wow. Okay, man,
he's there.
That's exactly what he needs to do.
It's got to be perfect. I mean, it's going to be incredibly difficult to beat that time.
Can't afford a mistake here. If he makes one error, it's going to be over his attempt at getting pole. But at the line, I think this should be the fastest lap of the day.
Oh, it is by 4 thousandths of a second for Henry Bennett. No!
No, what?
The time was corrected at the start-finish line. 40.164. A timing glitch there for a moment. Had Henry Bennett as the quickest driver, he will not be.
Well, on the bright side, he's still on track to take pole away. But he's got to keep it going.
20.077, another solid sector. We've got 2 cars over 225 miles an hour.
There's going to be a nail-biter here over these next 2 laps after. Let's see what he can do on this lap.
2 more laps for Henry Bennett. What's the second going to look like? Across the line, 40.126.
Oh, correct this time.
No,
it's going to stay.
He won for
Wow.
the 001,
Yeah,
and this is going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah, gets the fastest time by 1,000th of a second over Matt Cook. This is going to be very close. His average sitting faster than by 300th of a second.
It's going to be coming down to the wire. Sector time for Bennett. Wrong graphic. There we go. 20.134. Still solid, but a little bit off. Remember, the sector time on Cook's last lap, I think, was a 20.2 something.
Yeah, so he fell quite a bit on that that 4th lap. But for lap number 3, here comes Bennett across the line.
40.207. A little bit slower.
Oh man, he's clear by.
Whoa, oh, big slide out of turn 1. Almost got in the fence.
He's clear by 6,000ths of a second. His
Final
average
lap. 6,000ths of a second separate Bennett and Cook. Can Bennett steal the pole away, or will Cook hang on? 20.128 at the sector line. Solid. Final lap. Can he complete the deal and win pole for next week's Classic IndyCar Series Indy 500?
Let's see, one more turn to go. He has to make it perfect. No more mistakes here.
Final corner for Henry Bennett. Come into the checkers. Who's going to be on pole for next week's Indy 500? Bennett at the line. 40.239. It's going to be close.
No, it's Cook.
Matt Cook hangs on. Bennett just a little bit too slow. What was the margin on that? Going to be awful tight. 13 thousandths of a second between Bennett and Cook. But Matt Cook is your pole sitter for next Sunday's Classic IndyCar Series Indy 500. On Race Spot and the iRacing Esports Network, brought to you by Nucentric Solutions. He gave it all he had, Finney, and just a little bit of a slip up on lap 3, I think, is what did him in.
I think he's gonna be wishing that it was just the fastest lap because you would have gotten it by 1,000th of a second.
Oh man, what a lap that was by Matt Cook and by Henry Bennett. Because their best lap times, Finney, separated by 1,000th of a second. A 40.126 to a 40.127. Our best lap, Henry Bennett, 225.222 miles an hour. Well over the speeds that I would have expected to see today after the first part of the session. Taking a look at the track conditions, 102. We're down 23 degrees. That picked up the time, but it will be Matt Cook in the number 6 car on pole next week. Here's your results. This is the margins between each driver. As you'll see down at the bottom of the order, some pickup here and there from a couple of drivers. There's Zachary Zawar missing off that, but he was about 2.2 seconds off. Some work needs to be done by a few drivers at the bottom. But look at this. The top 4 separated by less than 100th of a second.
Yeah, this is by their fastest laps. I'll read over, actually, the top 9 as it's scored. So it's going to be Cook, Bennett, Chin, Michael, Schumacher, Spoolmeister, Weekly, Hoffman, and Isanami.
Wow. So an incredible qualifying effort here. We're going to wait around just for a minute to see if anybody pops in we want to talk to real quick. We're going to jump to break momentarily. We'll be right back. We'll hopefully talk to your pole sitter. Stick with us. Welcome back live to SYM TV for the Classic IndyCar Series qualifying from Indianapolis. We're here now with Josh Chin. Josh, a strong effort today in your number 93. Thought you might have had enough for pole today, but just a little bit shy. Walk us through your qualifying effort this afternoon.
Yeah, I didn't get enough out of the first run before we got in the top 9, and it kind of hurt a little bit because at the end of the race, or end of qualifying, track temperature was down massively. I think it started the session at 125, 127, and it came down to 102 by the time Henry did his run, and it was just kind of seeing how much we could trim the car out. At that point, there wasn't too much more trimming we could do. Henry was able to do a little bit more on the rear wing and get the speed out of it and get it close, but yeah, it was hot all day, and those last 2 runs, it picked up big time.
Next week, you're going to be starting up inside the top 9 drivers. Your thoughts on how the race is going to go? What are your plans for the race, and how much do you have to adjust your car for next week's Indy 500?
Oh, it's going to be interesting. Me and Henry were working together, and we kind of didn't really know where we were going to go with the car. And, after the last 2-3 days, we kind of figured out what we needed from it. And I think we still need to do a big rebuild on the setup. And the speed's there. It's just getting the drivability in the long run.
All right, Josh Chin, a strong qualifying effort this afternoon, just shy of pole today. Josh, thanks for talking. Good luck next week.
Thank you, guys.
All right, moving on now to Nate Michael, the number 15 car. Almost had pole, just like Josh Chin, Nate, but just a couple thousandths of a second short. I believe you're going to be P4 for next week's Indy 500. Your thoughts about your qualifying effort today and your expectations for next week?
I mean, I'm happy with it. I had a little more in the tank, but got a little wobbly coming out of 2 there on lap 2, I think. And after that, I was just trying to make sure I kept it together as well as possible.
The track conditions changed a lot today. Did it throw you off on your second run out to have to qualify in conditions that were so much cooler than earlier in the session?
It didn't, because I had enough setups in my back pocket for the temperature. But I did notice that the track conditions, they were a couple of degrees, in terms of grip, it was a couple degrees lower than what I had my setups for. So I used what I'm saying is I used like a 110 degree track temp for like 106, what it actually was.
Next week, a little bit of a different situation with 30 cars around you. How well do you feel like your car's trimmed out for running in traffic?
Well, that's what we're going to do this week. As of right now, it's a work in progress.
All right, hey, good luck next week in the Indy 500. Nice effort today. We'll see you later. Have a good night.
Thanks a lot. Good running, guys.
Appreciate it. All right, moving on now to, let's see what we got in the booth now. It's Henry Bennett in the 001. So close. Your best lap time was 1,000th of a second quicker than Matt Cook, but overall, he just edged you out. Just talk to us about your effort today and how close you were, and where do you think you gave some of the time away on that last lap?
I mean, overall, at the start of the day, if you told me I'd come second, just 100th away from Matt Cook, then I would have taken that. I mean, we expected to be in the top 9, but maybe not anywhere close to Eric's and Matt Cook. But yeah, as the day went on, we got a handle on the car, and the temperatures came down. We went faster and faster. So really happy with the way the day went, but yeah, kind of heartbreaking as well at the same time at the very end there. During my run, I knew I was fast to start with, and then the nerves kicked in because I knew Matt's first 3 laps. I didn't know his average when I started. Then first lap went well, second lap went well, third lap the nerves kicked in, and I made a few small mistakes with my line. I almost hit the wall, but still the time wasn't too bad. But I think it was the third lap that really did lose the pole for me. But yeah, with driving last, I knew kind of the kind of time I needed to aim for. So took enough wing out of the car to know that I'd have a shot at pole. But that made the car very, very difficult to drive. With like almost no margin for error at all. So yeah, came with P2. So yeah, happy enough.
All right, Henry, congratulations on a solid second place starting spot. Good luck next week. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
We'll talk now with our pole sitter, Matt Cook, in the number 6 car. Matt, hey, that was real tight there for a couple laps, but the lap time difference between your best lap and Henry Bennett's best lap was 1,000th of a second, but overall, you were consistent enough to take pole. Walk us through your afternoon.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a hectic afternoon, trying to keep track of everything, really keeping close eyes on the temperatures, making sure we're, keeping the car up to date as best we can and adjusting accordingly. And honestly, competition was really tight this year overall, so it was really a lot of work to stay on.
Talk about the competition, but next week we're going to have all 30 cars out on track at once. How well do you think your car is going to handle in traffic, and how much different is your race setup from your practice set or your qualifying set?
But generally for Indy cars, it's going to change pretty drastically. The qualifying wise, we can really push the car to its limit as long as the tires hold together over the 4 laps, then it's fine. But when it comes down to race, you really have to look at the long term, make sure the car is balanced and is it going to spin coming off a corner and something of that nature. So we're going to have to do a lot of work to convert that over to something a little more applicable. But, we've had a good track record all season long, and we're looking forward to it.
All right, congratulations on pole for next week's Classic Indycar Series Indy 500. Matt, the fast man from Canada, on pole today for the Classic Indy 500. Thanks so much, Matt. Good luck next week. We're talking now with, I believe it's Lucas Levy in the number 2 car, but also an administrator for this series. Lucas, congratulations. Had a pretty solid run today in qualifying, but your thoughts on this qualifying session as a whole and your thoughts for next week's Classic IndyCar Series Indy 500.
I thought it went pretty flawless, to be honest. It's not our first time doing this kind of stuff, so we're used to it by now with Robert, the lead admin for the series. So pretty good. Really happy to see that the temps changing all the time like that really kept things interesting for everybody, and really glad to see that competitive of a front row and that competitive of a field overall. That's super great for us.
Any final thoughts about next week's race in terms of strategy, in terms of planning to make sure you're there at the end?
If it's temps like we had today, it's going to be pretty much the same thing, like surviving a full fuel run and the first 120 laps before really starting to dig into the downforce and really trimming out. But it's going to be very, very interesting for sure. And I'm very excited to get in.
All right, Lucas Levy in the number 2 car. I don't actually know, where was the official average time for the number 2? I think I have 9th overall on the fastest lap chart. It looks like...
I'm going to give you that in a sec. 7.933, 40.7933. So
10th, P10.
Yeah, P10. Pretty good. Pretty solid day for Vortex Sim Racing as well. Just before leaving, I wanted to give a big shout out to you guys. Thanks for this awesome broadcast. I don't know if you're used to qualifying sessions like these, but I'm pretty sure you did an awesome job, and I really can't wait to watch what you did. So thank you very, very much.
Thanks a lot, Lucas. And actually, this is the first time we've ever done a qualifying session. I had a lot of fun doing it, so hopefully we'll be back again in the future. But thank you so much, Lucas. Good luck next week, and thanks for talking.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. All right, Finian, qualifying concluded here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Again, if you want to watch the Classic IndyCar Series Indy 500 next week, you can find it on RaceSpot and the iRacing Esports Network. But, of course, my name, is Kyle Heyer, joined by Finian DeCuna. Finian, your final thoughts after this qualifying this afternoon?
Yeah, no, that was awesome to watch, especially the Fast 9 shootout at the end there. Guys just trying to up one another, and even to the end of just the regular qualifying, too, to seeing how the track conditions were changing. Now guys are just trying to adapt and deal with the different conditions. But yeah, it was really fun doing a qualifying event for the first time. Haven't done anything like this before, and hopefully you can do another one.
I really enjoyed this. I thought it was really fun. Something different, something fun on a Sunday afternoon. It was actually also our longest broadcast ever.
Yeah.
3 hours and probably about 10 minutes by the time we're done. So thanks so much for watching. Again, if you want to catch the race next week on the iRacing Esports Network on Sunday afternoon, we'll see you later tonight for Yinzer Graphics Unreal Tour action from Knoxville with the NASCAR trucks. And we'll see you on the Race Kings Cup Series for the penultimate race of the season tomorrow night at 9:40 p.m. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you later.